that, and that. Here we go. All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1.
Boom, and welcome to the Big Honker Podcast, brought to you by Shin Gear. That's shingear.com. If you need some waders, it's the time to go right now. That's shingear.com.
Even got you a pair coming, Jeff. Guess
We
what?
got some rain.
So guess what? You're going to get to put out some decoys. You're going to get the whole experience.
We're going teal hunting. We're putting out 6 decoys.
You can pick every
A
6
couple
of those.
of lucky duck
You
spinners.
can pick all 6 of them up.
Well, how are you going to get out there? You're going to have to wear some waders also.
Jeff, I got to take care of my kid.
Just train your dog to do it.
Ron used to.
Yeah, I always grew up with dogs that retrieved the decoys all the time. We had one named Hacksaw. Some bitch was a decoy picking up some bitch. We'd shoot 30, 40, 50, 60 ducks sometimes, and he'd pick up a dozen duck decoys.
Right.
Yeah.
Tony shot too many ducks one day. He shot, 30 or 40 or something like that, and then he put out like 60 decoys.
Yeah.
He called Ron, and he's like, Dad, he won't pick up.
This was after the hunt was over because
Yeah.
we didn't have cell phones.
I got 4 decoys left out there. He won't get them. So how many ducks did you shoot? Oh, I don't know, 20 something. How many decoys did you put out? 60. It's like, well, no shit. He's fucking done.
He wore out.
Right.
Nothing he can do with.
I think it was probably around 40 ducks he killed and probably retrieved 60 decoys.
You think so?
Yeah.
Well, Tony's still alive, so I got it. You got to kind of watch your
statute of limitations ran out on that.
Oh, okay.
With us today, a former guide of ours, friend of ours, Wes Holmes from Knox City, Texas.
Born and raised.
Are you the first person from Knox? No, we've had somebody else from Knox City on here. Terry Utley.
Yeah, in Tex.
And Tex, our preacher.
Yeah.
Right.
We've had some. How did you get into waterfowl hunting? Because it's always funny that it was so good here for so long, and nobody from around here picked up on it.
Right. I think you guys y'all were already running your operation. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I know you were. So me and my cousin were just running around shooting pigs at night just for the farmers, they were destroying the crops, of course. So we're just out having a good time, just shooting pigs. So Rick Gonzalez, y'all both know him. He came to me one day and he's like, "Hey man, you'll make some money doing that?" I'm like, "Shoot, yeah, why not?" So we started working for Webfoot and just running hog hunts like 3 or 4 times a week, at night, taking their goose clients out. And then went goose hunting like a week later. Loved it, so just fell right into that and started waterfowl hunting for them.
But you were a good goose caller,
Very good goose caller. Smokey took you under his wing, didn't he?
Not then. I didn't know much about it, but I picked it up pretty fast.
Yeah.
I was very fortunate to hunt with some guys that had been doing it, lay beside them and pick up things.
You hunt with Brian and Matt.
Oh yeah.
Who taught you how to goose call?
Smokey.
Smokey did. He took you under his wing.
Right, he did.
And he done a lot, tried to really work for you. Work with you to get you to. So he taught you how to goose call.
Yes.
Okay, and you hunted with Brian and Matt.
Mm-hmm. Danny
Trey
Odell.
Crawford.
Yeah, Trey Crawford. Danny Odell.
What did Danny Odell teach you?
He taught me a lot. He was very good about getting in the right place in the field.
He was a politician when it come to trying to get the hot place to hunt.
Oh yeah,
as much as anybody I've ever had.
I'm sure
These are the kind of guys we need to get on a good hunt, Jeff. I heard that every freaking night and every day at lunchtime. They come out, they kill 60 birds. 12 guys kill a limit of 60.
Right.
Jeff, these are the kind of guys we had a good hunt. What the fuck did you just have?
Right.
You got 7 groups we're running tomorrow, and you think your group needs to be one after they've killed 63 days in a row.
Yep.
But he was a good customer service. None of the other guides ever liked Danny.
Right.
But the clients loved Danny.
They did. Yep.
And he got a lot of tips.
Yeah.
I love Matt Sullivan to death. Matt could have used a little bit of Danny rubbing off on him.
Right.
On customer service.
Right.
Yeah.
And Brent Chambers, he was like a car salesman. He was he was very good at booking the hunters. Like he would be on the phone just, but he didn't get on the field much. But yeah, those guys, and then Webfoot broke up. So most of them left, and then we had a new group come in. Field Hudnall.
Yep.
I mean, he's
Trey Crawford.
Trey Crawford, yeah.
He's a world champion duck caller.
Yep, and so is Field. Field was
Yep.
working for Zinc, broke off, and now he's got his own call production company. I did a TV show with him. Actually, it was the first TV show he ever did for himself. I did.
We got some
think
static error. Do you hear that?
I think I remember that. Let me see. YouTube.
Is that the fan
Yeah,
I'm
it's
hearing?
Field proven. It'd be Field proven. Fall season premiere. Field proven calls.
And
actually-
where were you? Were y'all in Canada for that?
No, we were here in Texas.
You were?
in
Okay.
Rochester. And actually, they have footage of you guys. I think either at one of your guide houses, Red Dog. Didn't he used to work for y'all? Or
No. He hung out here
okay,
for
well,
a year, but he never worked for me. Thank God.
there's a clip in there of all out here at one of your cabins. I'm pretty sure all the guys in there blowing calls. Andy might have been in that clip. I'm not for sure. I can't remember, but
I'm trying to. What was that call called? It was called Was it called the Matrix or was it something else? I remember that. Fuck, I cannot.
you mean Field's call?
Yes, the one that they shot out here. I can't remember. Or was it the adrenaline? Might have been the adrenaline.
Maybe.
Let me see. But yeah, I remember that because it was out here. That's off of YouTube now, I guess. That sucks. Oh, hold on. Let me see if I can find it. Y'all can chop it up while I'm looking.
Matt and Brian also had a call called Hammer Time calls that they
Right.
come out with.
Right.
And I'd love to have one of them old ones too. So Matt, when you listen to this, bring me a call one of these days. But
Right.
but they had a call, and then Field with them was there. And then you left Webfoot and you come to work over here.
Right.
And Smokey was heartbroken over that.
Right. Yeah, he was.
He already shot himself at that time.
Yes, sir.
And he's dead now, so we can talk about it
Right,
because
right.
I don't worry about him coming here to shoot at me anymore. Only person that ever threatened to kill me that I really thought would do it.
Right. No,
I thought he might.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna tell you what happened one night, and I've never told this story before. I don't think. I was coming to the lodge one night, like someone called, and I had to run a credit card or had to put something on the books. But there's a reason I had to come to the lodge. It's like 8:00 at night. So I told Michelle, I said, I'm gonna run the lodge. I'll be right back. And my old gray Suburban, I had the 4-wheel drive one, this
Right.
big jacked up one. I come driving out here, and it died on me right there by the Gotzi's well house.
Right.
And so I thought, well, I'll walk. So I started walking, and here comes Smokey's truck down the road. I could see him. I was like, fuck, shit. So I got over in the cotton field and walked. It was dark where he couldn't see me. He stopped at my truck. He backed up 2 or 3 times. I thought, oh, shit, he's going to fucking run over me or
He's
shoot
gonna
me here.
back up and try to shoot me.
And I walked on the cotton till I got to, matter of fact, I walked all the way home. Finally, somebody, I went to the lodge and was coming back. That's what it was. And I finally got to the cemetery at Knox City, and a car come down the road. There was no cars.
Oh, my
First
God.
car pulled up. Jeff, you need a ride? Yeah, I ain't out here for my exercise. And I
Right.
got a ride home. But he come by, and there wasn't no way I was asking that son of a bitch to give me a ride.
Well, I bet you he would have helped you. I mean,
He probably would have,
would've,
because
I think.
later on in life he would speak to me and
Right,
stuff.
right.
But he had no reason to dislike me
No,
anyways.
he didn't.
You know, and you know what's sad is Smokey, when he was sober, was a really nice guy.
Oh, dude, he was. He
but
was,
but he
but
drank
he had a lot of issues.
a lot. I
He
mean,
did.
anybody that'll shoot themselves will shoot you.
But there again, I always say this a lot. Like people don't know what unless you walk in their shoes, you don't know what they've been through. Really, I mean, you can just make assumptions a bit. Like I think he was in I don't know if it was Vietnam or not, but Vietnam. But he
He had PTSD bad.
yeah, and I mean, but I love Smokey to death. He was a good guy. When that happened, it just freaked me out. I mean, I had to get away from it. I mean, I was so close to him, and then that happened. I'm like, when I pulled up at that house, I'm like, what the hell's going on here?
I remember the scanner going off that night, and then I figured it out because they gave directions to his
Right.
house, and their directions were wrong.
Right.
And I told Michelle, I said, there's no house there. I said, they're giving Smokey and Kathy's house.
Right.
She's like, are you sure? I said, yeah, I know damn well that's what they're doing, but I said their directions are bad. And then sure enough, they come up, and then I heard them on another channel talking about, Greg was talking about who it was and stuff. But,
Greg Hearn.
yeah. But when I first met Smokey, I really liked Smokey. Smokey was a nice guy, but he wasn't a good employee.
Didn't he work for you?
Yeah, he worked for me for the longest year and a half of my life,
Right.
like a decade
Right.
and a year.
Right.
But he was not a good employee.
Right.
But when
Maybe a
he
little
was not
arrogant
drinking,
maybe, or
huh?
a little arrogant, maybe, or just
No, he wasn't arrogant at all. He wasn't a very good hunter. He was lazy,
right.
very lazy.
Right.
I'm gonna tell you what. I got baptized by fire on guides. I had Smokey work for me. Kathy was better than Smokey was.
Kathy's a very great individual.
I had Brian and Matt Sullivan.
Right.
Matt wore me the hell out. Matt would last about 3 days here now at my age and not having to put up with no shit.
Right.
But Matt, with under the right tutelage as a young guy, would have been really a good guide because he was funny and he was a good hunter.
Right.
Brian was a really good hunter. Danny Odell was a major pain in the ass.
Right.
Really good with customers.
Right.
Wore me. He would have been perfect now because I'd be like, you know what? You're going to hunt or we're going to hunt. I don't want to hear nothing else about it.
Right.
But that time I was the same age as all them guys basically. And then Dave Gertz worked for us. Perfect kid. He was a good kid.
Yeah.
And then so I dealt with all them guys, and then when they left, I dealt with Johnny and Dave Reese. Excuse me, and somebody else worked here then too, and I didn't have no problems. Johnny and Dave were no problems at all. They were team players. We worked together.
Yep.
But those guys were never team players because they were always competing. It seemed like.
Right.
And that's what made it worse.
Then they all went and started a business.
Oh,
they didn't get along then.
no.
They damn sure didn't get along when they started a business.
So when Webfoot didn't make it, I was not shocked.
Right.
There was nothing about that to surprise me.
Right.
Because they couldn't get along anyways because they were undercutting each other.
It was horrible.
I'll give you an example. Matt Sullivan. We had a field north of Rural, Little Simpson Field.
Yep.
And we hunted down there some, and we had all the hunting in the wheat, and we had all the peanuts leased. So we could hunt the wheat for 2 or 3 days and not even have to go to the peanuts or we had plenty of geese and go to them. And so I told Matt, I said, he goes, what can I scout over at the Little Simpson? I said, yeah, look, I said, because I need a number 1 field tomorrow. So if there's birds in there, let me know. Okay. So Matt comes in. There's a little bit of traffic down there, we'd had a group that shot limits 2 days. I'll never forget this. Right. He goes, I'll go down there and hunt there if you want me to. So we sitting there and we have 6 groups, and we're going through who's going to hunt where. And I said, and I put the number 1 group where I wanted them to go, and the 2. And Matt's guys were last. They shot a limit 2 days in a row.
Yep.
And so politics, the way you do business is they're going to get last pick of fields.
Right.
So I said, Matt said, well, I'll go down there if you don't mind.
And it was chock-a-block.
So yeah. So after the hunt's over the next day, Matt's done it 7:45, 7:30 in the morning. I drive by and they're finished. So the guys come in to settle up with me. He goes, man, we sure appreciate you letting us hunt down there. He said, I couldn't believe we got to the number 1 field. And everybody had pretty decent hunts that day. We probably had 6 groups, and probably 4 groups shot limits, and 1 group probably almost shot a limit.
Right.
And I said, well, that's fine. Matt chose her. He said, yeah, he told me it was shit stack last night. So I told him, I said, so that motherfucker was shit stack? Well, yeah, if I told you that, you wasn't going to let me hunt down there.
Right. Yep.
And I was pissed. But that was the kind of shit that we dealt with all the time.
Yep.
Nobody worked together. Like nowadays, we all work together.
Right.
Our common goal is for everybody to have a good hunt and work together.
Sometimes as a guide, you got to go out there and get kicked in the nuts.
Sometimes you're going to take it on the chin. That's business. Yep. If you're hunting anywhere, for everybody that listens, and you go to a place and they're running 4 or 5 groups a day, if you don't think there's a pecking order of how things work, you're crazy, because that is part of it. The outfitters has got enough birds to hunt you, or he wouldn't be booking you there.
Right.
I'm saying that most of them shouldn't book you if they don't.
Right.
But if you've been there 2 or 3 days and you've had 2 or 3 good hunts and there's a new group coming in, you're probably not going to field A.
Yep.
They work amongst themselves. They know what's going on. But they did not work together. I learned a lot that year. That's probably the best thing happened to me, was having to deal with all them guys for that year.
Right.
I wish now I could go back in time and I'd correct a lot of them problems in about 12 hours.
You would have drove to Royal and looked at the field.
Well, and there would be no mistaking that we were working as a team and not. But there was a lot of competition then, and they fought amongst themselves.
I remember the guides scouted more than you did. That's just, I don't know if that's the way that I remember it, but you weren't at both places. So like
I couldn't be.
I know, but somebody, like if there's something to be done in the wheat country,
I would send a guy.
Tony's up there.
Yes, me and Tony do most of it now. Right. But back then, I would send a guy. You would
trust Matt to go, and you'd go off what Matt saw.
You just trusted him.
And that was a mistake. That was my human nature, and I shouldn't have done that. But when you're talking about hunting down by rule, even now, a lot of times, if we're scouting, we'll send somebody down to Rural. Like I'll tell Andy, you take care of everything down by Rural or south of Rural.
Right.
And I'm going to be over here by the Playa area around Winchester.
Right.
And then Tony's going to go, now with us crane hunting so much, we hunt, around from Monday all the way back towards almost to Guthrie in some places. And so Tony, and we go to some other towns around here to hunt.
Right.
Tony will scout cranes in the morning a lot of times. Tony will leave here at first light, and he might be 30 miles away at a place where we've got some crane areas that we're hunting. Yeah. But we all work together.
Right.
And everybody that works here now, I trust everybody.
It's a team effort.
But it was a learning deal. And I learned that as you evolve with your different groups of guys. But
right.
That was a very talented group of guys. I have a lot of good laughs with the old Webfoot boys when they worked here.
Right.
And a lot of heartburn over the thing.
Right.
But as I got older, it's better to forgive and to grow up. We were all young. Shit, Matt and Brian were young. I was young. I'm trying to think who else was here that guided then.
with Matt and
Yeah, Kathy and Smokey, Matt and Brian,
Dave
Danny
Gertz.
Odell,
Brent
Dave
Chambers.
Gertz.
Brent.
Brent worked here for 1 year.
He worked here more than one.
No, it was just one season.
I thought it was
a
two.
long season.
What about Red?
No, Red hung out here a bunch, but Red never worked here. Red was Brent's buddy.
Right.
That was
right,
his
that's
adopted buddy.
Yep.
Red's got in a lot of trouble.
I heard that.
But I liked Jeff. He was a nice guy. He never done nothing to me ever at all.
Me neither. Wrong. Super nice.
But he's gotten a lot of trouble in his life.
That. Yep.
And then the next group of guides come in was Dave and Johnny
Reichert.
and Steve Reese worked here too for a little bit.
Josh
What
Mason.
about
Josh Mason?
the big tall Dan?
Dan Rittenauer.
Dan
Yeah, I
Rittenauer.
forgot about Dan. Dan was a great guy.
He was cool, man.
He
I
worked
liked
here
him.
for
He was a shooting
3 or
son
4
of a
years.
bitch.
He was the only
pass
one.
shooting
So
son of a
we had
gun.
the 151 hunt, and poor Dan was the odd man out. He had to take some guys, and
that's
he
right.
hunted somewhere else, and he had to hear just.
Has that record been broke ever?
No, it's not. There's some places have. We had at that time. It was probably the world record for dark geese in America.
Well, I mean,
on a 5-bird limit.
Out here it has.
Out here it was. I don't think nobody out here has ever shot that many dark geese.
I mean, just inside Stanfield.
No, we've never shot 151 birds. We shot.
Cool.
We had 31 clients. We have a corporate group here that come every year.
Discount tire.
And there was 30 of them. And I kept telling the guy, one of these years we're going to put y'all all together. Well, we had the perfect storm.
Because we would split them up 15 and 15,
15.
and 10, 10, and 10.
Right.
or
And we would
something
always
like
have
that.
a competition, you guys was, because they were a good group of guys. They bring all their managers out here and they
Right.
tipped everybody really well.
Right.
And it would be like, and they would have a contest, and the groups would bet against each other. We're going to shoot a limit first. It wasn't if we were going to shoot a limit, we're going to shoot our limit first. One year we stuck them all together on a field we called the 151.
I was there.
You and Andy were
Everybody
there.
but Dan was there.
Dan was the odd guy, and he had to take another group of 4 or 5 guys to do something.
He had a
And
private
went out there
party.
and worked and did not complain. I promise you that.
and
No.
shot 151 geese is what y'all shot in about an hour
Remember
and a
that
half.
hunt, Andy? It wasn't
very well.
like
It's
it
foggy.
wasn't a beautiful hunt because remember we couldn't even see them. We could just hear them. They were just screaming,
'Cause it was so
and we're
foggy.
screaming back, and they would break through the fog at 25 probably, and they're like shit. So they start pulling up, and we're like cut them. So
I
we
was
had
at
so
the
many
road,
guns going,
and
man.
I
It was-
couldn't see, but I could hear. I could hear y'all screaming. I could hear them hollering. I could hear you hearing them, all little geese. Then you'd hear the guns go off for a long time.
It was cool.
And then this is what's really cool. When it's foggy like that, you can hear things different. I hear thump, 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 thump. The birds hitting the ground.
Right,
Tum, tum,
right.
tum, 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 tum. And so I was trying to count. Well, they killed 13 or 14. It sounded like that. 15 and 16. Because I still did it. I watch and I can keep up with the bird count. I'm going to tell you what, the guys that work for me now are some no counting son bitches. I'm telling you right now. I can watch a hunt and I'll count. And I say, well, y'all got 32 now? Andy, we got like 12. And then they'll count. Oh, I guess we did have a little bit more than that. I'm like, God dang, y'all don't count for shit.
And I'm going to tell you something else. I've gotten away from like having the number in my head because we hand them to guys now.
right.
So like I'm better at like I'm judging how many we've got based on how many times I've handed a pile to somebody. So
Right.
like when we have it's like here's your 2 specs, here's your 2 specs, here's your 2 specs, and then we just go on down the line that way.
Right.
And then that way all the birds are separate and all that stuff. So I'm not really counting. I'm just handing limits to people.
Right.
And then there's been a couple times Jeff's has snuck in an extra person or two.
Yeah, I've stuck them in. They didn't show up at breakfast and
Yeah,
they weren't
yeah.
at dinner the night before. And they
I
just
thought
to
we
drive
had
up in the
10.
field.
We've got 14. So like, that
Right.
it's always extra birds. I'm never over, but that's
Right.
just how I don't really count anymore. I just here's your birds, and then
Right.
I just go.
Yeah.
Those
So
are
Jeff
some,
gets onto my ass all the time about I don't have a fucking number to you, Jeff. Like I got 3 more people that need birds, and then we're gonna be out of here.
you know how I've always did that way back then too. I
Right.
want to know what we're doing, what we're sitting on,
Right.
and it drives me nuts not to know.
Right.
I'm
And
just
that's-
gonna start sending thumbs up or thumbs down.
Right.
I
That's
don't
what
like
I'm
them
gonna do.
motherfuckers.
Right.
Thumbs up, we're doing good. Thumbs down, we're working.
You worked with me when we didn't even have phones. We used the radio.
the radios.
We had the little handheld
Yeah,
radios,
yeah,
and I would walk by,
Oh, that drove
and
me
I'd
insane.
say,
Where's
"What
where
you
you
got?"
at? Yep.
Yep, and boom, 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 and I'd be
That
gone.
drove me
Right.
nuts.
It's funny when Payne, before he went to school, he would ride around with me all the time, and he used to play with the radio all the
Right.
time. He'd be like, "How many specs do you have in Canada?" He's a little kid. He didn't.
Right.
But that's the way he. But that's back in the day. We rode around with radios.
Yeah.
And I would ask
Did we
everybody.
not have cell phones then? For
we
real?
didn't have cell.
It just was started coming out. I remember the
damn.
first phones out here. It was those
the bag phones.
There was bags, but I remember like the first
flip.
one you could put in your pocket. It had like the mouthpiece that would fall,
Right.
and they had written 4103, 4102 on the
That was
Right.
our
on
phones.
the face of
Yeah,
it.
it seemed like I remember that too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And they would handed them out to a couple guides, I think.
and I don't remember Ron's number, but
4131.
that's right.
4131.
I do know. Yep,
Yep,
that's
that's
right.
4131. I started to call that the other day just to see if
Dude,
Somebody
I bet
got it.
whoever's got that is like, gosh damn, I wish they'd quit calling for Ron Stanfield.
have most respect for that man. He was a good man.
Dad had a great life.
He taught me a lot.
Dad-
he taught me a lot
Dad-
about life and about hunting.
Dad had a great life. I'm telling you, there's not very many people that die with that much money in the bank that can say that sucker right there.
Yeah.
Man, he had a good life.
loved
Well, that wouldn't
his
change
life.
anything. There's nobody. I don't know many people that would die with nothing that would not change a single thing about
He
their
wouldn't.
life.
He wouldn't.
No,
He was.
yeah, he was happy.
If it was cold, raining, sleeting, snowing, 100 degrees, he was there. He
Yep.
did not care.
I mean, he's just a workhorse.
And he was steady.
Yeah, he
Steady.
could he dig a hole better than anybody ever been around?
Jesus, he'd whoop any 18-year-old kid's ass. I mean, all day long.
We don't do a whole lot of holes anymore. We do A-frames a lot,
Right,
but it's funny getting the young kids from Dallas.
Yeah.
They don't know how to work a shovel.
No, hell no.
They use it's all upper body, and I'm
Right.
like, listen, you see the little thing on the
That's what you
sides of
step
the
on,
you
yeah.
step on that with your foot, and you're gonna get a whole lot further. But they
Yeah.
just try to muscle it, and I'm like, you're not gonna get very far doing it that
And
way.
it would be a mess sometimes when you got out there with a bunch of city slickers.
You can say
Yeah.
city six,
Say whatever you want.
They didn't ever, and you're like, the way Ron showed me to do it, you take the dirt, you put it right by your hole.
Mm-hmm. Two
you know,
shovel blades
so that
wide.
way you can cover everything up with the stubble. And then, he had it where you could rock back like a recliner. I mean, he was a pro. But anyways, I learned from him. So you're trying to tell all these guys how to do it, and then next thing you know, they're throwing shit all over. And, I mean,
It's worse. And out here, the dirt underneath is a different shade than the
yeah.
stuff on top.
So it messes it.
So
up your
now
hunt.
you got something else you got to hide.
right.
I mean, it is this deep,
It makes a
dark.
big difference too. I mean,
Yeah, you
it
wouldn't
can-
think it.
it can ruin your hunt.
Yeah,
I mean,
and
it's not
I've
done
seen
right.
it happen before.
Yeah,
You don't
me
keep
too.
that right on the side. Number one, you're not going to have to. If you keep it right on the side and you do it right, you don't have to dig as far down because you're building up,
Right.
and then
Exactly.
it's easier to hide too. So
I got a question for you. You as one of the first kids, you were a country kid, 100%.
Oh yeah.
You rode around out here, you hunt, you fished. You were what a kid that grows up in the country should have been.
Right.
Okay, you had a wreck one night, hog hunting, correct?
I did a
Bad wreck.
Bad.
How was that conversation with your dad? Because I'm sure your dad was not real happy when after he found out you were okay.
No, actually, he was cool.
Was he?
Yeah. Okay, so me and my best friend been friends all growing up. I mean, somehow that night we had how we did it. I don't know. We were on the phone. We had a misunderstanding. I thought he was in front of me, but he was behind me. So me and Alex Ledesma, had a six-pack of beer. We're just cruising. Like I'm waiting on him, to catch up with me or to show up. And I'm thinking he's in front of me. He's gonna be coming towards me.
Are y'all blacked out with
Yeah,
night
we're
gear?
running. It's full moon running with no lights.
No lights.
And
Okay.
I'm
No,
going-
there wasn't no night vision or nothing then. It was just a full
right,
moon.
Right. So, on a full moon night, you can see pretty. You can see pretty good.
pretty good.
So, anyways, we're just cruising and we're just talking and we're talking about this place that my dad had leased, or it's been in the Holmes family for years. It's just right west Oberon, about 2 miles before you get to the Oberon T, on the right. So we're talking and I hear this. I hear like this turbo. I hear this noise and I'm like, I looked at Alex and said, "Do you hear that shit, bro?" And he's like, "I don't hear nothing." I looked at him, I looked back at the road, and I look in my mirror and I don't see nothing. And I mean, 2 seconds later, I hear it again, and I'm like, "You don't hear that?" And I don't know if I looked at him, but I looked in my mirror, and as soon as I'm like, "Oh!" I mean, it was an instant. As soon as when I looked in the mirror, I'm like, I knew we were done because he was right. That white hood was right. It was right before impact. I'm like, shit. I just jerked the wheel real hard, and DPS said he was running like 92 and we were doing like 15.
Jesus.
And he hit us so hard. I can still hear that in my head a lot of times at night. Like just the impacts, like a train hit us.
He was blacked out also?
Yes.
Ooh.
And see, if y'all remember, a few years before that, they had a really bad incident in their family, and
Yeah, his
Right.
dad got killed.
his dad and his little sister.
Yeah, I remember that.
So-
I didn't ever think about that. So that's a bad replay for him.
And another thing is Stephanie, okay, his sister, it was Scott, and then his best friend from college, he brought down, and then his sister really didn't run around with him a lot, but there was the twins, the other sister, she was with him also. So, man, whenever he hit us so hard that like Clint Lewis' dad had started and told me, he said, "Wes, in 50 years of wrecking, I've never seen anybody call out of a shit mess like that." I mean, he said,
And you weren't really hurt, were you?
not at all. Not
Was
at all.
Alex?
Yeah, he had like 46 stitches right here where he hit the shrapnel. But it basically took the frame, the bed, and somehow just just compacted it. I mean, just folded it up, crushed it. From my right shoulder to the passenger side door, there was nothing. It was crushed to the seat. So the only place that was open is where I was at, and I had a guardian angel my mom gave me on the sun visor. And we rode like 3 times. Scott went through me, and then so he had a 1-ton power stroke. When he hit the pavement, that mark's probably still there in the road. It snapped the front left tire off the axle. It rode, way down the road, but he dug a rut in the pavement like that deep.
Wow.
Went all the way across the other lane and then into the ditch. And so when we're upside down, and I'm just like thinking, first I'm like, Alex, screaming his name, like, we're gonna freaking blow up. Like I could smell gas. I was just thinking we're gonna blow up. And I can't get the door open. So then I'm long legged and I can't even really kick the door. You know what I'm saying? But I'm trying to. And I'm looking for him, and I'm just freaking out, and like, I heard he's like going, and I'm like, what the hell, man? So I just reached down, and somehow he's in the floorboard, like his head is, and I reached down to grab him, and I grabbed his face, and I could just feel hot, wet blood. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, get up, bro, and I'm like shaking. He's like, man, I can't freaking breathe, man, quit. So anyways, I look, and Scott, and this is a true story, guys. People talk about how like when you're scared, you have this. I mean, you've heard of people picking up cars.
Yeah.
They're
adrenaline.
He was running, and Scott was big and slow, but he's like, he called me Homer. He's like, Homer, and he's running. I'm like, man, get me out of this, whatever. And so he runs up there, and that door is wedged shut. I can't even get it open. I've been kicking on it and pushing it, and he just like, I swear to God, he grabbed it and just, boom, just jerked it off the hinges and threw it on the ground. And we come out, and we're only like a mile from my dad's house, or not even that far. And so
is that the same place that Caleb or that
no,
what's the Carver boy?
Caleb Carver?
Caleb, is that the same place they had the bad wreck?
I know Caleb had a wreck.
Yeah, they had a wreck with his dad one night.
Okay, this would be right. You know where Gotsy's?
Is this where the Atkins pins are?
Mm-mm.
The next mile up then is where it's at?
No, yes, the pins, yes.
That's where the pins are?
Okay,
That's the same place Caleb had his wreck too. Same exact spot, I think.
Because right there at the pins, you could turn.
And go to your dad's.
Yes.
Yeah.
Other way, we go to my grandpa's.
Right.
Or Smokey's old house.
Yes.
Know. Okay, so from right there, go 3/4 of a mile is where it happened at, right there.
Back to the west?
To the west.
Back by Joe's house?
So it's back towards Joe's.
Right past Joe Gotsy's house.
Okay.
Right past that house, like.
Where the guy used to have the preacher used to live down there too.
Eighth of a mile down the road from us.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
That's where it happened.
Okay.
So
Caleb's wreck was on back right at the pins, I think.
know he had a wreck.
Yeah, him and his dad coming back from somewhere and rolled it was a bad wreck.
He broke his leg real bad.
Yeah,
he was still in high school, I think.
Yeah, he was a freshman.
He had to miss a whole year of football. I think he broke his femur.
Compound fracture, from what I remember.
They say you have wrecks close to your house, like people.
Yeah,
always
more
say that.
people
most
do.
people die.
Yeah, most people die in an accident by their house, within
by their house.
like within a mile of their house.
But that's probably just an odds thing too, because you
Right.
drive by your house more
Right,
often than you
right.
are somewhere else.
So did you walk to your house? Because there's no cell phones at this time.
Okay, so yeah, there was. I had to have been, because we called. Okay, so we had a choice of.
It wasn't very common though.
Alex was bleeding like crazy.
Yep.
Everybody's freaking out, and we weren't drunk, but we all had beer, So there's broken glass and beer tabs and bottles and shit busted everywhere. So,
And you had to do a Danny Wainscott or Brian Williams.
neither one. I don't know.
Really?
I don't know.
Because those were two guys I would not have to lie to.
Right. So we called BJ Shorters.
Mm-hmm.
So Slimmer, man, we had a bad wreck, bro, and so he gets there quick. So we know we got to get Alex to the ER. He's like, Wes, you all right? And I said, I'm fine, dude. I'm just freaking out. I was just pumped up, adrenaline. So he takes me to my house, my dad's house. And I walk in the house. Mom and dad are sitting there watching the 10 o'clock news or whatever. And Dad's like, God dang, son, who'd you get in a fight with this time? I'm like, no, Dad, we had a bad wreck, Dad. Real shit, like bad wreck. And he's like, are you all right? I said, I'm fine. I said, Alex, man, we need to go to the ER, because I was worried about Alex, and I was worried about everybody. And so we get in the car and we go. I said, I'm going to show you real quick, because it was just right when we get to the blacktop. It was just right down the road. So we go down there, and my dad's like, Jesus, what in the
very thanking his lucky stars you're alive.
He's like, what did y'all do? And I'm like, so anyways, he either smelt the beer on me, or he just knew we were drinking, or whatever the case might have been. But he's like, whatever you do when you get to the ER, do not tell them cops that you were drinking. You don't take any blood test, piss test. Just you weren't drinking, all right? So I'm like, okay, cool. We get to the ER and there's like 6 DPS officers there, and nobody ever said a word.
Nothing.
And I think it was because of the incident prior to.
Mm-hmm. What's a bad deal?
People involved,
they all knew they already had one of them. They didn't want to.
So anyways, you know,
that was a hell of a deal. I remember that. That's when I was
scary.
Yeah,
it was very scary.
That was
and
like
you
my
walked
first
away
year
without
of
a
living out
scratch.
here.
Right.
Walked away without a scratch.
Not a scratch. I was sore the next couple of days, but I mean, I was.
Can you imagine being Miss Ledesma? You got Jesse, Alex,
my God,
and
dude.
Fred. I mean, there was always shit going on with them boys.
Always.
I sure miss Big Head Fred.
I love all them guys. They're like my brothers. Me and Alex were still real close, and you know, I got attacked by the killer bees here in town a couple of years ago. Remember?
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, Alex shows up, and I'm like, man, I'm whooping these bees off of me, and I'm like, I thought I was gonna die that day. I ain't gonna lie, I really did. I'm like, this is how I'm gonna die. All the shit I've been through. This is how I'm gonna die with these freaking bees. But anyways, Alex shows up. I'm like, get back in the truck, man.
It ain't worth it.
They're biting him, and he's like, I'll be right back, bro. And anyways, I said, man, we've been in more near-death experiences together than anybody I know.
How many times did you get stung?
Probably 200.
Ain't that God
Jesus.
almighty.
Just
That
all over
was
your
the
body?
most aggressive thing I've never in my life witnessed. I couldn't think. It flipped me out. I mowed that yard 20 times before that day, or say 15 times. And I did the same thing every time, went down the same wall with the same zero turn, and never even knew they were there. So I don't know if they just moved in there or what. But
Yeah, they're calling out pretty quick.
I saw bees migrating one day.
Dude,
it's the craziest thing. I was outside. I was changing a lock on an outside door, and I just hear this hum.
oh yeah, I heard of them. Just,
And I was like, what
Yep.
the fuck is that? I
I've
thought it was
seen
like
that too.
electricity or something. And I'm like,
Right.
there's a down power line or something. And like it gets closer and closer and closer. And I'm finally located, and it's bees, like 50
Right,
foot up in
right.
the air, and they look like teal. And they were just going south.
moving on.
I don't know how many of them there were, but it was the craziest thing. And I fucking locked myself in that
Right.
house
Well,
for a
remember
minute.
Randy Sharp, our UPS guy, his dad got ate up big time over in
Oh,
rural.
man.
He
If
got
you-
a couple of hundred bites on
And you
him
can't
on a,
outrun 'em.
on a
No,
lawnmower.
No way. There's no way. Like, if you're an old man or a little kid, they will kill you. I mean, there's no doubt. Because when I went down the wall, they didn't do nothing. I went out, turned, come back, went right back down the 6 feet away from the wall, 'cause 6 foot deck, whatever. And they hit me, and I'm like, I feel neutral. I'm like, what the, like, I didn't know what's going on. And I'm like, bees, and I'm like. So the first thing I do is I'll go like this, and I knock my bandana off of my shades. And I guess when I did, of course, I probably killed a couple. That's the worst thing you can
right.
do, because
Yeah,
then it
'cause
puts
then
the scent out.
They smell bad.
So I look at the freaking eave of the wall, and they're just like coming like a herd, and I'm like, what? And they just engulf me, and they go for your eyes. They go for your eyes and
Everything.
mouth is what they.
Openings.
Yep, that's what they go for. So I'm like, I can't even think. I got gas right there on the side of the road, right there where my truck's at. I'm thinking I need gas to get them off of me. So first thing I do is I run to Wes's front door. I'm like, Wes, help! He's like, what's going on? I'm like, bees. And then, he didn't come out. I don't blame him. So then I run
I
to
don't
his,
fuck with bees. Like on Tommy
I
Boy.
run to his fucking carport. I'm like, I'm kicking gas jugs. I'm flipping lawnmowers. Like, what the? So I'm like, pumper supply. I'm like, I know, I'm going to go into the shop, and I'm going to, somebody help me. I don't know what I'm going to do. So I run.
Tracy looked at you like he's crazy.
I run to the freaking, the back, across by the alley. They have their pickups in the back door. So I run up there and I hit the door lock, and I'm like, it's
locked.
after 5, they're closed. And then I don't know, it seemed like 2 minutes, but I was probably like 20 seconds to there. And I'm like, this is how I want to die. Ain't this some shit?
And they're following you everywhere you're going.
Oh, they're all over me. So then I'm like, I need the pickups were unlocked. There wouldn't be any keys in them, but I need it. So I said, well, I'm jumping in the truck. I kill what's on me, So I get in there, and I'm beating these some bitches off, and I'm tired. It's hot, 110 degrees that day. No, windows up. And Marsha McGoy pulls up in an SUV, and she's like, here. And she had like some Benadryl, and she threw it out. She threw the truck, hit the door, and
She
hit
just
the
barely
ground.
cracked her window.
And she's
and
like, gotta go.
gotta go. Hope
So
this
she-
helps. Let me
She
know.
takes off. So I don't know who the city cop was then. Do you remember a couple years ago? It's not Dakota. It wasn't Eddie. It's not.
It was either,
wasn't Candelaria. No,
No, not Richard.
it was a little white dude. Maybe the one that arrested me that time.
God, I can't remember his name.
But anyways,
I know you're talking about. I
he
just cannot
pulls
think of
up,
his name right
rolls
now.
his window down. I'm like, roll your window up, man. get some help. And he's like, they come in and bite him. He just like, he takes off. I'm like,
Just protect and serve my
Is it the
ass.
old guy?
I can't remember. I don't think he was old, but I don't know. Anyways, he was scared of bees, obviously. But,
And then what? Then how did Alex? 911 call comes out. And fire department comes.
I call my dad and he don't answer. Then I I'm calling my dad's number and the phone is just froze up. You know how they do something? They'll just freeze
Because it gets
up.
hot.
Or yeah, whatever happened. I don't know if I had it in my pocket and I pushed buttons running or whatever, but it was just, you know how they just freeze up. So I'm like, I'm trying to call his number and it's locked up. So I'm like, okay, I just throw it against the dash real hard and the battery comes out. So then I fight more bees off, I put it back in there and then I get it, get it power on. So then I'm like, I call Dustin. I'm like, answer your phone, bro. I call it and like, no answer. So I call him again back to back. And the second time, by the third, fourth ring, he answers. I'm like, bro, get over here. I'm fixing to die, man. Help me. He's like, where you at, Holmes? I'm like, he knew where I was at after I told him whatever. And so he got there like in a minute, but he pays the fire department out. So anyways.
There they come.
So Wes Grimsley, during all this is going on, Wes comes out, poor guy, and like, I see him running by with his cap going like this, and the whole herd is on him. And he went into Allsup's, and they were stinging him in Allsup's. So
wow.
So we had backed the ambulance up to Allsup's, loaded him. They loaded me, then they loaded him. They went to the ER and got stingers pulled out for 2 hours, an hour and a half.
How much Benadryl they give you?
I don't know. They give us an IV of Benadryl.
No shit.
Yeah.
Did you ever did you have trouble breathing? Did you ever go, because they
Nothing.
say, don't you go into like anaphylactic shock or something and it just everything seizes up?
Some people would have died from that because they would have.
Oh, yeah.
Like Tony, if he got stung like that, Tony would have died.
My dad, too.
Yeah,
My dad's
people it's
highly allergic.
anaphylactic, they'll go right to it.
Yeah.
Well, Benadryl is an amazing medicine because it saved your life right there. My dad had an allergic reaction to a blood transfusion one time.
Gave him the wrong blood, didn't
Gave
they?
him the wrong blood. And I mean, he was in bad shape.
Good gosh.
And it saved his life.
Right.
I'm gonna tell you a funny Ron story that I've never said before, but this it's funny. But at the time, it was funny then too. Dad is in the hospital at Knox City. He had I think knee replacement surgery, and he was fixing to get to go home, and he was on a swing bed there for 2 weeks or something. And they gave him some medicine, and he had an allergic reaction to it. The lady calls me at the house about 10:30 at night, and she's like, Jeff. She goes, can you come up here to the hospital? I'm like, yeah, what's wrong? She goes, nothing's wrong with Ron. She goes, but he's very confused. Could you come up here? I said, yeah. So I get up there and she goes, what's wrong? She goes, he's walking down the hallway naked, looking to do laundry. I'm like, what? He was walking naked up and down the hospital, wanting to do laundry, looking for the laundry to do.
Oh, man.
I think I've still got the picture that they put big pictures everywhere or like signs that said, Ron, you were at the Knox County Emergency Hospital. You are not at your home. Laundry is down the hallway. You do not have to do laundry here. Ron. But I think I've still got the pictures because he woke up and he was pissed that he couldn't find the laundromat.
But he just walked around naked up and down the hallway. And I'm like, Ron, you got to go. So then I tell him, like, when he gets better, about it, he's like, well, I'm not bashful.
I'm not ashamed of it. Some bitch must have a hose or something.
He just was walking around just like it's no big deal.
That was Ron.
Yeah. Mad that he couldn't find
Pissed.
a damn.
Michelle goes, Jeff, I do not know if I want to see your dad naked. When Dad had open heart surgery, we went to the hospital, see him, the next day, or before he's going in to have surgery. We go check in. We're going to do all this stuff. They go through this stuff, and they bring this cart in there to a gurney. Mm-hmm. And Dad said, well, shit, I ain't had surgery yet. I can get on that damn thing by myself. And he just picks his damn robe up, and walks out in the hallway and crawls up on that. And there's these two women and their husband is having a surgery too. And they kind of look at Dad, and Michelle's like, oh my God. I said, Dad, put your gown down. He goes, oh, hell, ain't nothing I ain't seen before. It's like no big deal. And then he tells me before he goes in to have open heart surgery, he goes, don't you go home to Knox City without me. I'm getting in that Suburban and riding home with you. I go, Dad,
I believe that.
If you're going to Knox City after you have open heart surgery and you think you're going home today, you're going to be in the morgue. You're going in the hearse.
Right.
I said, you're not going home tonight. By God, I'm going home. He had open heart surgery at 2:00. We've been there since 4:00 in the morning. We get back to Knox City at 2:00 in the evening, and he calls me on the phone, and he's like, hey, I thought I told you not to leave with me. I go, what are you doing? He said, I'm ready to come home. I go, there's no possible way. I'm telling you right now, I want to come home. He's on his cell phone.
Right.
So I called the nurse up there and I was like, listen, my dad, she goes, he can't come home for a couple of days. She goes, he's just coming off the medicine. She goes, he's okay. And he calls me again. I said, well, he called me again.
He wasn't playing.
She goes,
He's
well,
serious.
she goes,
He's going home.
So I'm like, gosh dang. So I called my mom in Wichita. I said, hey, will you go up and see Dad? I said, Mom, we are beat. I don't want to drive all the way back up there. So she calls me. She calls me back. She said, yeah, he told me he wants me to bring him a hamburger. So she takes him a hamburger, he eats a hamburger, and he goes back to sleep and don't wake up till the next day.
Right.
But he really honestly thought he was going home that fucking day.
He would have if you had.
Oh, if I would have, I wasn't going to, because we brought him home 3 days later and he had to go back. Right. That's the hardest time I've ever had in my life, was when my dad had an open heart surgery and come and stayed with us. Whew, my God. He's going to come home and sleep. They told us he'll sleep for 20 hours a day. He didn't sleep at all. Was up all night. His old feet swelled up the size of elephant feet, and he'd get up all night. The first night he stayed the night, I was asleep. It was about 4 o'clock in the morning, and you feel like somebody's watching over you.
Right.
And I look up, and Dad is right there. I'm like, what are you doing? He goes, we're going to have any breakfast around this joint? I said, yeah. We want
what's it take to get breakfast
what's it take to get breakfast around this motherfucker? I said, Dad, in about 2.5 hours, Michelle will get up and get the boys ready for school, and we'll have breakfast. Well, God dang, we're just
hungry.
Oh, he wore me out.
I cannot find that picture because I know, because he was proud. He was proud of it after those signs that they put up.
Okay, Wes, we're going to get into the gravy here.
Okay.
You worked for us. You got out of guiding, and you got into drugs.
Yes, sir.
What all drugs have you done?
Synthetic marijuana. That's
Is that what started you on your bad path?
Yeah, it is.
They say it's a horrible deal.
It's bad. I mean, it's the way I describe it is just probably, and why would you keep doing it? I don't know, but closest to death without dying.
Synthetic marijuana?
Sometimes, yes.
What is that? That's like that
K2.
K2?
That shit has killed a lot of people.
It has a lot.
And I just should have killed me, but thank God it didn't. But anyways, so that you could get it at Wichita or Abilene, like over the, just going to
the head shop,
liquor store or whatever.
Why is it legal then?
It's not no more.
Not now.
Oh, it's not.
It's not. But yeah, they were selling it. So, well, I guess and then marijuana. I mean, some, but mixing the K2 with methamphetamines was like the ultimate high for me. Like, it would just send you. You'd already be high on meth, and then you'd take one hit of that shit and just put you through the roof. So but it's very, very dangerous.
So you was doing meth. How'd you start taking meth the first time? You're a smart guy. Meth is not something that people just take casually.
Right.
How did you start taking meth?
Just
drag this just a little bit closer to you.
Just like maybe once in a blue moon or once every couple of months, just get some just to do it. On the weekends, and it wasn't no big deal. Then I went through some stuff in my life that was traumatic, so I was just using that just to numb me, and I did it for like almost 10 years,
Would you smoke it, I guess, or would you inject
smoke it or snort it? Yep.
So you didn't do needles?
No.
So you would snort it, like you just
just crush it up.
It up?
Yep. And just make a line of it, and just take a dollar bill, roll it up, or a straw or whatever, and snort it.
And it automatically made you feel better.
Oh yeah.
Just makes you zone out the rest of your life, though.
You could, yeah. I mean, yeah.
And you had kids at this time?
Yes.
You got a divorce.
Yes.
You went through all this shit.
Yep.
Your parents are super, super good people.
They are.
And they've stood by you on this.
Yes.
And you were living in a cellar.
Yep.
Homeless, basically.
Yes.
And you live in a cellar. In a town full of people that love you.
Right.
Because everybody in town likes you.
I know.
And they still do.
Right.
I mean, when you were in trouble, it would be, man, I saw Wes and he was messed up again. I hate it.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'd see you and you'd be halfway, I'd see you at the gas pumps and you'd seem like you're getting your shit together, and then you'd
fall back off. Yep.
What was it that finally made you like get over that hump? Because so many, I'm sure you quit a million times and went back a million times.
I quit a few times, yeah. And there's a combination of things like there's people in this town just like you guys. Y'all treated me the same no matter where you saw me. The guys I work for now supported me. Even when I was messed up, they never gave up on me. They had my back, and they really shouldn't have, but they did. Billy Lerma's another one. He gave me a place to stay. A cellar's not much, but hey, man, I had nothing. But anyways,
because your mom and dad done everything they could.
Yeah,
tough love was all that they could do.
That's right. Yeah. So a combination of like when you have people that are trying to help you, and you got kids. I mean. And then you just keep doing it. It's like you're slapping them in the face, the guilt part, there's a lot of it. And then my health, I felt so bad every day. And it's like, you feel like shit, like I'm going to die. I'm fixing to die of a heart attack or stroke. I know I am. I'm going to die before I hit 50. and I don't want to be that person. I don't want to die. I mean, I want to live, you know. I never wanted to be that person, but it's a vicious cycle that you feel like shit, and then you get high, and you feel better for a half a day or whatever, 24 hours. Then you feel like shit, and then you just keep doing it because it's all you know. I mean, it's the only way that.
Did it make you feel better?
Yeah, it does make you feel better.
Now, do you feel bad that you're clean?
I feel fucking like I'm 20.
You do now?
Unbelievable.
You hurt so bad from that. I've heard dope sick is a horrible feeling.
It is. I mean, and a lot of days when I go to work at Cedar Ridge, like, and nobody even knew it, but I was always cut the way, like, you know, in high school, go to a party, get drunk. Well, hey, the next day I had to go to work. Well, I'm cut like to where, you know, hey man, you got drunk, it's your own damn fault. Somebody,
right?
You're old school. That's the way everybody was.
Yeah, you nut up and go to work.
Not anymore. People call in.
No, but Wes grew up the same time frame I did. Basically, how old are you?
46.
Yeah, you're younger than me, but it's the same generational type deal. You just
if you felt like shit and you knew it was your own fault, like I got to go to work. Somebody's depending on you.
You're that way, Andy.
Yeah,
you do it yourself. Work. You know,
I've been out there many times with Donnie Hall blowing a goose call, and I mean he was hardcore old school, like drink whiskey and we'd party every night. I'm like, why don't we do this Hall like every night? We stay up till 2 in the morning. We got to be up at 4, and I would be blowing that call, and in Canada, so when big Canada's coming in, I'm like, they're 10 yards, and I'm like blowing my call, and I'm like, I'm not going to shoot. It's going to hurt my head so bad, and I'm like, fuck it. But anyways, blowing call, puke. But that's the way I am. I mean, that's the way I've always been. So I would.
You were raised that way.
Go to work no matter what, and so at Cedar Ridge, I'd go out there, and this has just been like a year ago. I mean, just felt horrible, and just push through, and I mean, I don't know. I'm a pretty tough cat, but that shit will eventually it'll take you out, and I knew it was going to take me out.
I'd never done any kind of drug, so I don't know about the drug deal. But when I did drink when I was younger, I ain't never doing this shit again. And then at 2 or 3 o'clock, you'd get a second wind. You thought, hell, what's going on at the club tonight? We're going to Cheyenne Cattle Company
That's
tonight.
part of the sickness, you know.
Did you do that on the meth the same way and stuff?
Same way.
So you'd get a second wind that afternoon and start feeling better.
Yeah. I mean, if you were feeling bad, you know.
Take a little bit more. And
yeah, I mean, or just, I don't know.
When you were living in that cellar, did you ever think about, God, what am I doing living in a cellar? Or did you just happy to have a place to live?
You know, at the time, I was, when I left my wife, I knew I had to leave because I was going to be in the penitentiary because I was going to kill somebody. I mean, I would fly off the handle really quick, and there's some things going on, and, you know, the good Lord touched my hand like 4 times, or I would have split somebody's head open, you know, and I really don't miss. A pretty good shot. I don't miss with a baseball bat. But anyways, somehow every time God, diverted my swing or whatever. So I had to leave. So I left and I went to town. Nobody would mess with me then. Nobody. So I'm walking from Rochester to Knox City in the rain. I said, I gotta get the fuck. I gotta go. And so Jesse Ledesma picks me up coming in off the pulling unit. What's up, Holmes? I said, man, I need to ride to town. So I go to town. I go to the abandoned motel.
Oof.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, this is where I'm going to post up. Somehow during all this, nobody messed with me, but somehow, and I did not steal.
You never got, I've told people.
But everybody's, when I come to town, everybody's like, he's a thief, you know, he's going to rob you and all this shit. But I never did steal.
I deal with that a lot. I've never, ever, and I've told so many people this.
I know you have. I
never had to deal with Wes doing anything.
I know. I appreciate that.
But he did hung out with a lot of people that did some shit.
No, yes, no doubt.
But you didn't.
And that's what, you know, you get into when you're on doing drugs. You deal with people that do have that reputation. So I mean, you are who you associate with, basically. I mean, you know, that's what people think. So, but anyways, where was I at? What was I talking about?
Living in a cellar.
Okay, the hotel.
Yeah. So, I don't even remember where I had a bicycle. So, I went to the motel, and then I go by Billy Lerman's house on my bicycle.
Right across the street.
And he looks at me some kind of way. I'm like, what in the hell? And since I was a kid, I've always messed with him and his wife, all the Lermans, all of them.
Yeah.
And it bothered me really bad. So I get about 2 blocks away. I'm like, man, piss on this. I'm going to go talk to him and see what's up. So I turn around and I go up there and I beat on his door. He don't answer. I beat on it again. He comes out. He's like, man, what the fuck are you doing here? Go. I'm like, man, what's up, Billy? What's your problem, man? I heard it. I said, I don't care what you heard, bro. I'm not the kind of person. I'm just been through a lot of shit. And, you know, I don't want you to, I'm not going to steal from you. I'm not going to take anything you got. And so we kind of talked for a little bit. He kind of chills out. And I told him, I said, I want to talk to Diane. I want to talk to your wife. He's like, no, Holmes, she don't want to talk to you. And I said, I don't care, Billy. I want to tell her the same thing I told you. I've known you guys since I was a little kid. I have the utmost respect for you guys, So she comes out and, she kind of whatever, and I told her, and she goes back in the house. And by the end of this conversation, he's like, do you need a job? I said, yes, I need a job. So he's like, I'm cutting wood. I need somebody to split wood and help me out. So he said, I'll get with you in a couple of 3 days. So about 3 days later, I wasn't sleeping much because I was on, on the ship. So, but anyways, in about 7 in the morning, I'm hearing, hey, Holmes. He'd scream. So I'd jump on my bike and haul ass to his house. And we'd go to work, $50, $75 a day. And that's how I got hooked up with Billy. I started working with him. A week later, he's like, man, you need a place to stay. He said, you ever stayed in the cellar? I'm like, no. He's like, well, clean it out. You're welcome to stay there. Run me an electric line down there, the cord, And those people took me in. I had nothing. They took me in. Thanksgiving, Christmas, I went to their family events like I was their son. They never looked down on me. They never talked about me. They always, they worked me. Most of my money went to drugs, but I was content, for a while. But yeah, I have a lot of respect for Billy Lerman. He's a good guy.
What time of year was this?
What time of year?
Yeah, was it like summertime when you were in the cellar?
It was I was there for a couple of years.
Yeah, because you used to deliver wood to me. Because
Yeah.
Billy, I've seen you in my backyard many times with him delivering wood.
So what would you do when it was like super hot or super cold?
I had a heater down there for when it was cold, and then when it was hot, I had an AC.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you were set up fairly well.
I mean,
Compared to most homeless people, you live like a king.
right.
I mean, there's a lot of guys that was safer than a lot of places.
Yeah.
If you're going to be a homeless person and you're going to be from somewhere and you're going to be on drugs and in trouble or out of trouble, whatever it is, you can't pick a better place in Knox City if you're from there, because people in town watch out for people.
Right.
Like if I saw you somewhere at a gas station and grocery store, I'm going to talk to you.
Right.
And I'm sure I was like everybody else in town because everybody loved Wes.
Right.
We all loved Wes. They had the wreck out there on the road.
Right.
And Wes worked here as a guide.
Right.
Not everybody loved Wes
Dumping
being on
pigs in the
drugs and
middle of the
stuff.
Right. Exactly.
And we loved your parents and your family.
Right.
And your mom and dad has had some hard times with you on this.
Right. Right.
And then you go to jail. And you stayed in jail for 10 days.
16 days.
16 days.
What, like county or what?
I had so Billy told me, he said, man, Dustin wants you to go work for him. I said, man, I'm good here, Billy. I'm good. And he said, no, Holmes, I'm about to quit all this crap. I'm about to just start working for Pimmons. I'm getting out of the wood deal. He said, you need to take this job. And I'm like, no, man. He said, man, you need to better yourself. So anyways, we talked about it several times and I just kind of blew it off. So then I said, okay, I'll do it. So I wasn't really dealing with Dustin much then, just Garrett. He would call me, come pick me up from the cellar. I'd go to work, Then I got thrown in jail for walking into this dude's carport to talk to my cousin. And anyways, a first-degree felony, burglary of hap with intent. So I was in jail for 16 days, and I was calling, telling Dustin, like, man, come get me out of jail, bro. I don't need to be here. I didn't do nothing wrong. I didn't steal nothing. I didn't assault nobody. So my bond was $35,000. So, he had to put up $3,500, and he finally agreed to do it. And he said the bond was going to bring you to the airport, go to work. So I did what I said I would do. I worked every day, 7 days a week. I didn't ask him for no money. I just worked, wrote my stuff on the board every day. And then finally he's like, man, we need to tally up on hours. So go in the office and tallied up. He owed me like $4,700. So he's like, you want me to pay you the remainder of the money I owe you? And I said, give me $100, put the rest in your drawer for me, buy me a truck. So I work. Another $4,500 later, I got a truck and paid for a year's worth of insurance, And that was the start of that right there. When I did that with Dustin, that got us close, He's like, man, you kept your word. So just me working hard and me giving him his word, it wasn't enough, but it was a lot. It kept me, and he's always helped me out, and he's been good to me. But that's the ladder I climbed to get where I'm at now,
Did the 16 days, did that help you kick your drug addiction?
No, I went right back to it.
You went right back to it?
As soon as I got out.
Really?
Oh.
But You've seen that you could be sober.
Yeah.
I see that all the time with people in jail because I go magistrate them in jail, and they're pissy, they're mad, they're just coming down.
Yeah.
And then you go back 10 days later. There's been people I've had to magistrate over some
Totally
other charges.
different person.
Big time.
Totally
Just,
different
they went
person.
out of jail. They're going to get clean. They're going to stay clean. They're clean finally. But it's funny. The day of the first day, total asshole.
It's so easy to quit whenever you get away from it. So like when we go to Iowa, like
you're around people
working.
that aren't doing drugs.
yeah, and don't know where to get it, so you can't get it. So you just your mindset's like, just go to work.
You have the itch as soon as you come back here all the time.
Last year, I had the itch big time, but this year I made my mind up when I was up there. We had a discussion in our office, and I'm like, dude, I know I've let you guys down before, but I'm really am done, and it's just time. I mean, I'm just tired of it. I was tired of it. I'm tired of feeling bad and tired of letting people down and my kids, and there's a lot of things.
Well, I hope
but you gotta do it.
sober.
You gotta do it for yourself before you.
You can't do it for nobody else.
No.
It's got to be for you. I hope you stay sober. Your dad's a good friend of mine. He's a good guy, and I know it just killed him and your mom and
Right.
everybody. And you've hurt everybody, but you haven't hurt nobody as bad as you've hurt yourself.
Right. Oh, no doubt.
And you've cheated yourself out of so many things.
You
You were
got-
a damn good goose.
When I
guy.
walked in
You
here
have so much
today,
fun.
you can ask Cody's wife. First thing I did, went in your office and I grabbed that illusion call. I think it's illusion. Bill Sanders, maybe.
Saunders.
Maybe. It's a little
traffic.
Yeah.
A
I
traffic
grabbed
call.
the call and I'm just like slamming on it. She's like, "Man, you're good. You know what you're doing." I'm
You
like,
were
I
damn
did
good.
it for 25 years. You know? And I miss it.
Better be.
But meth took that away from me. You know, I lost the interest in it. I just
When you walked through the dining hall, did it bring back old memories?
Oh yeah. I mean, I'm looking at all the pictures and
Christmas parties we had here and stuff.
Michelle's cookies.
Yep. She still makes the same cookies. Still here every day.
But yeah. I mean, it's So I guess if I was going to talk to anybody about quitting, I mean, if you can get away from, you have to X out all the negative people in your life, the people that are going to bring you down. There are a couple of people I still talk to that do drugs, but they know not to bring it around me or,
Yeah.
But everybody else I've deleted contacts and I just cut them out,
One of my favorite people in Knox City died this past year, a year ago, that was on drugs. And it was Andy. And he was one of my best buds in the
Right.
world. I loved Andy to death.
Right.
And God, it still hurts my heart.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so mad at myself because I was going to go see him.
Right.
I was in Mexico when he got really sick, and I was going to go see him,
Right.
and I didn't, and he died before I got to go see him. But
Right.
he was always treated me so nice. And
Very
he was such a good guy. and
very
I-
smart man,
I loved
too.
him. He was, and I loved him to death. And I treated him the same as I did when he
Right.
was Sunday sober as I did when I'd see him
Yep.
shaking at the gas pumps, and it was he had a
Right.
coat on, and he was freezing to death, and it was 107 degrees.
Right. Yep.
Because he was my friend, and
Right.
I hated he never could get clean because the world missed out on that. And I don't
Right.
want you to go through that.
No.
And I've thought about that so many times when I talk to you, because I'd ask you, "Are you clean?"
Right.
Because I'm not one to mix fucking words.
No, I know.
And I'd ask you, "Wes, are you clean right now?" And you'd lie sometimes and tell me you were when you weren't, and I
Right.
knew you weren't.
Right.
You know.
Oh, you can tell, no
Oh
doubt.
fuck
Yeah,
yeah!
yeah.
I text my wife when we were talking in the office. I was like, "He's a totally different person right,
Right.
now."
Yeah.
Yeah.
you
Like
can
I don't
tell.
know what what it is.
You can tell. You
Yeah.
can tell. That's them like drug tests. I'm like, yeah, whatever.
You'll
we
be
can-
able to tell.
We can take a drug test whenever you want, but you can tell. I mean, they know, dude.
No,
Like,
you know
yes,
you
I mean, you just
because
know.
you're clear. You're just a different person.
right.
But you've cheated yourself out of so much and so
Yeah.
many people, and I want you to stay sober so much. But I'm proud of you for getting to where you are, and I hope you can do it. But the negativity and keeping away from the people, you can move somewhere else where you don't know anybody that's a druggie, and there's a good chance you'll stay sober.
Oh yeah.
But it's hard to be sober and live in a town
You
where
know,
there's
it's-
other addicts.
It's been really easy since I've been back from Iowa, but the 2 days it rained,
Yeah,
Saturday and Sunday,
yeah.
I had trouble those 2 days.
Just 'cause you were
Saturday
bored?
afternoon, well, yeah, I was bored, and then I went like my sober people, like Alex's house, and drink a beer maybe or something. But he wasn't home or he was working or whatever. And then so I called Cody. I'm like, hey man, I got to get out of town, bro. Like I'm getting that itch. And I've talked to people, and I guess that's itch is always going to be there, that voice in the back of your head.
Yeah.
Especially on days like that. But he's like, let's go cut wood, bro. So we went to the Morehouse and cut wood. And I mean, I didn't even, after that, I got with Cody. We get out there in the woods. I'm good. I mean, so there's things you can do.
You got to
but
fill that void.
Yeah, but you can't just. I mean, because man, if you
Positive
it's so
people.
easy. Yeah, positive people.
Yep.
And that's I have a lot of those people in my life, and that's who I cling to now.
When Ron was quitting smoking, I don't advise you do this, but he would keep cigarettes in his front chest because every shirt he had a chest pocket.
Right.
He'd keep a pack right there. and he would just pat on him whenever he was feeling that urge. And he said just patting on him, it made it go away.
Right.
And he'd pat, and he did the same pack of cigarettes every day for like a year or whatever. He said he had no use for them, and he's like, for shits and grins, he opened it up, and from him patting on them, they had all just disintegrated, and all the shit was in the bottom. And now I don't advise you walking around with meth in your pocket. That might get you in a little bit of trouble. I don't think you get out of that ticket, officer. It's a probably recovery mechanism.
No, that wouldn't work. It's too strong of a drug to have that close to you. Virtually impossible, I would think, but
it's an evil drug.
It is
very evil thing. God almighty.
Yep.
That alcohol's the worst because it's easy.
And alcohol is a gateway drug.
It's everywhere,
too. And it's easy to get.
Because if I go drink, I don't even like to drink, but if I do drink 4 beers and I get that little itch, so I try not to even drink. I mean, I will drink a beer too, but I haven't even done that since I've been back.
You're with good people, and Dustin and Garrett really care about you.
They do,
and it shows. Dustin is a really good dude, and he does a lot of good things for the community that people don't know about.
He does.
And my hat's off to him for that because we need more people like that.
Yep.
And Garrett is a good guy, and those guys think a lot of you.
Yep.
And I talked to them before we did a podcast because I wanted to make sure that because this is a close deal. You worked for us. I'm friends with your family. You mean a lot to me, and I want to see you that way.
Right.
And I'm going to tell you what. I had to sign some papers on you one time, and it was a hard deal.
I know.
It really, really bothered me because I thought, this is a kid that, I love this kid to death. And
but you did the right thing.
Well, I had to.
Looking back.
And I was an asshole about
it. Was I'm telling you, if that wouldn't have happened to me, I don't think I would be clean right now. I mean, that was a stepping stone. Looking back at that, I was like pissed off, hated jail, didn't want to be there, mad at everybody. But, I mean, that's what got me close to my people, the guys I work for. I mean, that just my word alone, I always worked hard no matter what. I mean, I used to pull a lawnmower on a bicycle. Mm-hmm. I remember that.
Yep. No, yes. Because I used to drive by and I'd tell Michelle, I said, fucking Wes.
But I mean, I was working.
No, you've always worked. You didn't steal, you worked.
Mm-hmm.
But I used to tell her all the time, fucking Wes. As I said, look at fucking Wes over there.
I know it.
Fucking could be guiding hunts. And I even about 7 or 8 years ago, I told you, I saw you at the gas station one day and I said, Wes, if you'll get fucking clean, I'll work you.
I know that.
I said, I can use you all the time. You're a good hunter. You know what you're doing. You done good with people.
Yep.
Your deal is now you need to help. You have a passion for hunting.
Yep.
We need to find young people that have gotten mixed up with stuff like that, and they need to realize that don't give up 20 years of your passion over something that's going to kill you.
Right. Exactly.
Because you're lucky to be here.
I am lucky.
Because if that would have ever heard on a deal that they found someone dead in a cellar or something, I would have never, ever been shocked. I would not have been shocked. I'm not going to lie to you.
Right.
And I don't think anybody else in town would have been shocked.
No.
You know what happened to Wes? He took something with some fentanyl in it, you know? Gosh.
That's what scares me is that fentanyl shit. And it's everywhere now.
I talked to a girl that we both, I'm not going to bring any names, but we all know she's been battling it for several years now. Super smart. She was a super good athlete.
No, I know who you're talking about.
I do too.
Anyways, she relapsed here like a month ago in high school, and she did some stuff and it had fentanyl in it, and she ended up on the ER table, almost dead.
Jeez.
So
now they say it's like rainbow color to attract kids. There's a bunch of shit. Oh, you got to sneeze.
Wouldn't doubt it.
I can't understand. I don't know the drug gang that well, but what is the fascination that someone wants to take fentanyl? That's what I don't understand. It must make you feel $1 million. I
don't know.
Because most of the people that take it that die from it don't even know they were taking it. They don't realize it's laced with it.
Right.
And I don't understand. I know why people want you addicted on heroin that sell heroin. And I understand why people that sell meth want you addicted on meth and cocaine or whatever it is. I don't understand why you want people addicted to something that's going to kill them. Yeah, because then you're losing your business.
Right.
So I do not understand that.
I think most of it is brought in here from, I don't know, but like
it's from China's where it comes from.
Yeah, and then I don't know.
It is a drug they give you at the hospital. It's a painkiller.
Isn't that what killed Michael Jackson?
Yes, I believe so.
That's what I thought.
I think Prince too.
But I've been around people that are on opiates, and that is like way worse addiction than any other drug I've seen, because they will do anything to get it.
Yes,
they'll steal from you. I was
There's housewives that are on it. It's a big epidemic right now in like the bored housewife community. Like,
And
they're driving a fucking Bentley and they had a knee operation or something and they got on these opioids and now all of a sudden their prescription's out and they can't afford it, so they're
do anything to get it.
Anything.
I mean, anything.
It's just crazy.
And I mean, this one chick I used to mess with, she's locked up right now. Thank God she's locked up. She needs to be. But anyway, she's had a very traumatic life, and it's hard to like, whenever they tell you what they've been through, and then you're like, good God, I can't believe you're even still here. Like you hadn't stuck a gun in your mouth or something, you know. So it's hard to. It's almost like, go ahead and take the pills, because I mean, I probably would have already killed myself, you know. But,
right. Everybody, I mean,
but it's,
yeah.
but it always leads from that to then she got on heroin, you know, banging heroin, you know, then she got caught up, and now should be locked up for 4 or 5 years, but I mean, it'd probably save her life. And when she gets out, I hope the hell she stays clean. But the opiates are very, very addictive, and I've seen a lot of people they'll do anything to get them. Hydrocodones on the street, they're like $12 a piece.
Mm-hmm.
We threw away about 500 when my dad died.
Now that's pretty expensive for a junkie, isn't it? $12.
Yeah, it's very expensive.
I thought they were like 20 or $30.
She had probably on a laid back day, a $200 day habit. And she didn't work, so I mean, she would hustle, like do whatever, sell her body or whatever. I mean, anything.
To take 10 hydrocodone a day.
Steal. I mean, and then then you'd be like, you went and stole from that old lady, and she's like, fucker, no, I didn't. I'm like, yes, you did.
So they don't even know they're doing it a lot of times.
They just lie
or
to
they
themselves.
justify it.
I mean, yeah, it's a sick. I mean, it's horrible.
So if she's taking you said $12 on the street, so that would have been she's taking 15 hydrocodone a day.
That's just to chill her out.
How the fuck can you even function on that?
I don't know.
That's crazy. I'm going to tell you one of the problems we have, or another problem we have that's huge, is the fucking doctors that are giving these things out.
Right.
That's one of our problems. And I think it's the same with the COVID and everything else.
Right.
These doctors are on big kickbacks on a lot of things, whether all kinds of medicines, the fentanyl patches, opioids.
She used to get the fentanyl patches a lot.
They get all that shit, and they did the same with we'll make you take the vaccine. Well, politicians don't give a fuck if we're alive or not, but they're getting a kickback. So the politicians and doctors get kickbacks off all this shit.
You're right.
And that's why I don't know what a hydrocodone cost to manufacture. I don't even know if
Me neither.
Who makes hydrocodone? Pfizer?
I'm sure.
Okay.
I mean,
whoever it is, I bet they make that pill for about 10 cents a pill.
Probably.
And they're selling that pill to a doctor for $50 or not just 50, let's say $5 a pill.
Right.
That doctor's selling it for $10 a pill. So everybody's making fucking money, and all you are is a moneymaker for them.
And the people,
insurance companies and you.
The people that I used to know, because I knew people that had pills because of her. But the people that had the pills in rural, Haskell, Mundy, I mean, all around, dude. Guthrie, just wherever. They'd drive an hour, 2 hours to get them. It didn't make a shit. Every day.
How many pills are just in our little communities?
Oh, shit. There's quite a bit.
But how? I mean, that's just crazy to think about, though. In Knox City, Texas, 1,000 people. How many hydrocodone pills are floating through our community? And a lot of them are coming here legally.
Right. That's what I'm saying. The people that have them, either I don't know if they're lying to get them or whatever. How they're getting them, but there's prescription, you know, and the people that are hooked on them, they know who's got them.
I had a lady come to our house years ago that for a New Year's Eve party or something, and I'm not going to say who it is because her family would be pretty embarrassed, but she stole some hydrocodone, had a ear infection, went to the doctor, and they gave us a prescription for hydrocodone. Well, every family in America that has a hydrocodone or something like that, you don't throw them away because you never know later on down the road when you're going to need them.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, and you need a hydrocodone.
Or
you can't
a toothache?
Yes, you can't go to the doctor and get the fuckers hardly. You got to be something wrong with you to do it. So if you've got 6 of them left over, you keep that 6 because 3 years down the road, somebody might need something. Mm-hmm. Well, you have a party at your house for New Year's Eve or something, and you go in there and there's 2 left and there's supposed to be 6 or something.
Right.
And the only reason I looked is because someone told me, said, that lady's a pillhead. She'll steal pills out of your shit.
Right.
And she did.
Yep, exactly.
In 2006, there were 8.4 billion pills distributed in the United States. In 2016, there were 76 billion opioid pills.
76 billion. We have a
Opioid pills.
population of 300 million people. Do the math. That's 20 pills per person, I think.
And it's, I mean, like I said, it's up from 8.4 billion in 2006. 2012, it was 12.6, and now it's all the way up to.
No, I lied. That'd be more than that. There's 76 billion, you said?
That's what this Washington Post article says.
There's 300 million times 76. 300 million.
2019, I'm sorry,
be a
was the year,
billion.
not 20. July 16th, 2019.
240 pills per person in our country. Okay. Me and Michelle are two people living in a house. We haven't had a opioid pill in our house in probably 2 years.
Right.
3 years. So that's 3 years worth of it. That would be 700 pills or 800 pills. Somebody's getting our 800 pills in Knox City.
Yeah.
Guarantee you.
But the
I
people
don't have
across
any
the
pills
street
in
from
my
me, I
house.
don't know if they do. The people, now the guy next to me's had some problems. He probably has some, but he's got legit reasons. But
Right.
on my block of 10 houses, probably 3 houses have actually had a reason to have an opioid in their house in the last year.
And that's what's bad is it that the people. Okay, so I know this girl from this area that just had a baby and they did a C-section, and I'm like, you're in a lot of pain because I mean that's
Bad
a
deal.
hell of a operation. And she's like, well, they just gave me Tylenol 3. So the people that need it don't get it.
No, that's right.
Because they can't,
But
they don't trust
you know,
anybody with it.
That's 2 houses now on my
And if
street
you've
that
had-
hasn't had any, because that was one of them I was thinking of that maybe had a reason because of that.
Right.
And so I thought they'd have a legit reason to have it. So that's 10 houses. Only 2 of them have got legit reasons on our house.
Right.
So by the national average, there's 1,600 hydrocodone pills missing off my street that's somewhere floating around the United States by the numbers.
But you can't tell me that there's not a kickback on some of the doctors for a big fucking
Right.
increase in
Yes.
pills like that.
So
like,
if you
a
go to-
doctor's getting a kickback somewhere.
So if you go to the doctor and like, just say if I went to the doctor, today, cut my hand or something. If they know that you have a drug history, more than likely they're not going to prescribe you any hydrocodones.
Right.
No, you're going to get
You're going to get Tylenol 3.
You get Tylenol 3.
Is tramadol also on that scheduled list?
Probably because I know that that one girl, she used to mess with a lot of tramadol too.
Okay, then maybe
it's just
it's
it's
something-
not as intense as hydrocodone.
I know you're not getting Oxycontin.
Oxycontin.
Yes.
Oxycodones, they're very intense.
Yeah,
too.
you're not. So you're getting Tylenol 3, or they're going to give you Advil.
Right. That's all you're going to get. If you have any kind of drug history, if they're like, and going to the doctor here, the locals, like, I mean, if you go to the ER here, they're going to know, they're not going to give me hydrocodone.
Yeah.
But, and I don't know, when you do go to the doctor, I guess they probably test you. So if you test positive for meth or anything, they're not going to give you nothing.
What does it do? Like if you did have meth in your system, and will the two drugs like fuck with your system? Like if you've got meth in your system, and then you do cut your hand, and then they give you like hydrocodone, are you gonna like
I've
get
known people
fucked up?
that done both, and I mean I don't think it.
So meth's not a pain killer then. You still feel pain if you're on meth.
I was just meaning what would it do if all the drugs?
No, but I was
mixed
just
to one
I was
another?
curious.
But now, if you have a bad toothache, okay, say if you have a bad toothache up here or down here on this side, you can do a line up this nostril, and it will totally numb the shit. It's better than any hydrocodone or anything you can take instantly.
That's what cocaine is used for nose injuries. But if you like to get your nose broke,
Right.
they push cocaine in
Cocaine
there
would be the same
because
type.
it numbs it.
Right. But so that aspect, it works great for that. But as far as like numbing your whole body, if you hit your head or you cut, you fall or you hit yourself, it won't hurt as bad probably, but I mean, it doesn't just numb you completely. It numbs your emotions and like
helps you cope with the shit you got going on.
Right. It just bottles it up and puts it back, pushes it back.
It ever scare you to think that you're taking meth? 'Cause some of the local people we have that have cooked meth out here are not what I would call high on the genius scale.
It's all different. It's all different now. See, back in the day when I first started messing with it, it was all anhydrous, and it's so more intense than what they have now. Like the stuff they have now, you can do it. You can sleep that night. You can eat. You're not going to gain
So
any
it's
weight.
toned down a bunch from
A
what it used to.
lot. Now
Because
the
the
anhydrous was fucking very intense. In other words, we could have a pipe right now loaded with that shit, and I could pass it, take a hit, pass it to you, take a hit, you. We could do that 8 times a piece, and you would be totally fucked for 3 days. I mean, you're not going to eat nothing. You're not going to sleep at all. You're going to be paranoid looking out the windows. Now, the people that just bang that shit and put it in their veins, I mean, I couldn't even imagine what that would be like. But, I mean, a lot of people lost their families and lost everything over the anhydrous. because you could just smoke it. And I mean, just smoke 8, 7, 8, 10, 15 hits and be totally
For 3 days.
3 days. You're
gone.
out of there.
You just sit in a room by yourself and you're fine and content.
I mean, you're just really uptight and fucking. I mean, I didn't like it.
Doesn't it makes you real
real
not nervous? What's the word I'm looking for?
paranoid.
Yeah, you're very paranoid.
You're looking out the window.
Everybody's trying to get you.
Right.
Somebody
Now the
looked
stuff
at you
now-
crossways, and you're like, "What the fuck is their problem? Like, why is he looking at
If
me
you go
like
in
this?"
public, because you're probably not going to go in public.
Just because you can't handle that level of paranoia.
It's bad.
So the stuff you take now though doesn't have that kind of.
It doesn't have anhydrous. It's not made from anhydrous. I don't even know how they make it, but it's way more mellow.
Are they still stealing anhydrous now? Like, or
No.
are they not doing that as much?
You don't
think
hear
so.
much about it
No.
anymore.
Because
I
that
don't-
was the big thing forever.
I don't think you can. As far as I know, you can't even find anhydrous. Antidote. They call it antidote. You can't even find it. I mean, remember Gotsy had the trailer stolen out here
Yeah.
a few
We
years
used to have
ago.
this shit all the time out here. It
Right.
was a common
But,
deal.
I mean, it's totally different now. I mean, and some of it you buy, you get like I mean, they cut it with I don't know, just different things. I don't remember exactly what they cut it with, but it basically you're just a waste of money because it doesn't even do anything. I mean, it's just bunk, just junk.
Have you done cocaine?
Yes,
What's it do for you?
it's the same. It's just exactly the same type of drug, except for as they call it, the rich man's drug. So you can do a line of meth. It'll last you. If it's good, it'll last you 24 hours if you do a good line, you know,
Or 3 days if it's the anhydrous one.
right. And coke, you'll do a line, and then like an hour or two later, you're level again and need another one. So you have to keep.
Because you don't hear about people strung out on coke like you used to.
No.
Oh,
And
yeah.
coke's pretty hard to find, I think, around here. I mean,
Heroin's not though, and heroin's the bad one now.
I've heard that.
The heroin's really bad. Have you not
Heard
done
that.
heroin?
No.
They said that is the
Never.
bad one.
I've seen it and I've been around it some with that one person, but never done it.
Did you ever OD?
Never.
Never did.
Well, I'll take that back. On K2, I fell out on that shit a couple of times.
Never had to have Narcan given to you though.
No.
And druggies hate Narcan because it kills their high.
Right.
They don't mad. They don't kill it. It saves their lives.
Right.
They just piss it.
Right. Yeah. Wasted their money.
There was a graph that I saw.
But yeah,
I can't find it now, but it was. We gotta go. You gotta go take a leak. If he's lucky, he's gotta go take a leak. There was a graph that I saw not too long ago, and it was the drug overdoses, and it was like dated back to like the 50s, and it showed like what was.
I think meth.
were.
I think like meth. I mean, I guess you could overdose on meth, but you don't hear about that a lot. You know,
I can't.
more the fentanyl or the heroin. Yeah, a lot of people because they take such a high level that they just go to sleep and they don't wake up. you
Right.
know?
Now, I'm gonna switch gears here. You killed a lot of pigs in your day.
Right.
What was the biggest pig verified that you saw? Because like you hear these people,
No.
shot a 500 or 700
No,
pounder.
They're non-existent. I was a top buyer in the state for almost 5 years. You know, I had the station there west of Knox City on Gotsy's, and I had the one right south of Benjamin.
Is that market gone now? Because you used to see that all over
It's
the place.
coming.
Everybody
it's coming
had.
back. It's coming back. It's coming
It
back.
is?
Yep. It's not as good as it used to be, but it's coming back. But no. Honest to God, all the pigs I bought. Shit, man, I bought a lot of pigs and trapped a lot myself and shot a lot, but I never busted 400 pounds on my scales. 398. Ken Patterson caught a 398. Rick Minzer caught a 397, and that's
That's the biggest you've seen. That's a big animal, though.
it is.
Like
Anything if you bust 300, you got something. But if you bust 350, it's almost unheard of, really. I mean, and the traps they caught them in were the damnedest things. I mean, they were about like this table, about that wide and about that long, small.
Mm-hmm.
And the hog could barely fit in there. I mean, his back was touching the top. But both those hogs were caught in a trap exactly about that wide and about that long.
now, what would you sell them for? What was the market for these animals?
Depending on the weights, so they usually start off 60 to 100 pounds. Or no, 60 to 80 would be like when the market was good, say 15 to 25 cents a pound, no head bonus. 81 to 100 would be like 30 cents a pound with a $5 head bonus. 101 to 150, 40 cents a pound with a $10 or $15 head bonus. And as you go up on weight, so anything like 251 to 300 was like 65 cents with a $25 head bonus.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how and every day they would come in, and I had it set up to where they would weigh their own pigs, had an invoice book in the mailbox. They would write their name, write down what their pigs weighed, and every afternoon I'd come in and write checks and leave them in the box, and the next day they would pick up, and just kept it going like that. But I mean, it's big business. I mean,
yeah, I mean, everybody had a pig trap, and you
Right.
see everybody had a whole bunch, and then that industry's kind of
yeah.
what killed it, and why is it coming back?
I think the
People are hungry.
the COVID and all that is exactly what killed it.
Really?
And when they shut down our economy and everything, that killed it all.
They
I don't
also
think we've
used to
ever
ship
had-
them to Germany. Didn't a bunch of those pigs go to Germany?
Mm-hmm.
I think that maybe the USDA changed some rules
always-
with shooting wild. I mean, eating wild pigs. Maybe
They always said overseas, which would be
I think they all went to Germany. It was an
Yeah.
overseas market for them.
right. I bought for a company called Southern Wild Game, and then there's Frontier. Those are the two major companies. But me and Andy was talking about when you're out. He said, "How many hogs have you bought?" You know, you hear people saying 450 or
Yeah, you hear
400.
these people like, "Oh, I shot a
They're
500-pound
non-existent.
pig or whatever."
The two biggest ones I ever caught or bought was Kim Patterson caught a 398 and Rick Minzer caught a 397 in a trap as big as this table, that wide and that long, and barely could fit in the traps.
We killed a pig up by Gilland.
398, wasn't it?
I'm not saying they're not
No,
out
no,
there,
no,
but-
no, no, no. You're right. But what I'm saying is the biggest pig in 30 years of being up
Right.
here hunting all
And
the
you
time.
y'all killed a lot of them.
And we killed a pig that weighed 408 with its head cut off.
I
And it
believe
was it was weighed in at Henrietta at the meat locker there. And that was in 1994
right.
maybe.
Right.
And Tony had a full-size pickup and its snout was on the back of the deal, and we had to push this back to get its ass in
That's
there.
a lot of dead weight.
That's a lot, and that pig weighed. I'm guessing with its head cut on, probably weighed 475, maybe
Probably.
460.
Yep.
And that's the biggest pig. I've never ever had another pig that weighed over probably 325.
right.
But yeah, these guys, I killed a 550
No.
pound pig. You're full of shit.
No, they're non-existent.
Now I saw a pig. I went to Harrisburg to a hunting show in 1997, I believe. And while we were there, some people across from us were selling pig hunts either in Oregon or Washington.
Right.
And these pigs looked as long as this table, and they had a sway back to them, and a grown man could sit on one of them.
That's the way them two I bought were.
Yeah.
They were huge.
Yes. And they said that those pigs were in a
Feed yard or something.
no, that there's a canyon there, and they can't get out of the canyon. They get too big. And they live in this canyon there, and they're wild pigs. But they were selling wild hunts they were selling these hunts, but they had them mounted. But they were as long as this fucking table. They were 8 foot long, just about, and wide. A grown man could ride one.
Let me ask you this: since you guys kill a lot of pigs, I haven't been killing many, but since the choppers have started flying, do you think? I think it's probably. It seems like it helps the numbers more than it
I
hurts them.
don't. We have
I've
just
not
as
seen a
many
drop.
pigs as we
And
did
the
before.
Next thing is, but I think also that since they're taking them out and they're reproducing, moving them down the river. I mean, I know they can shoot like my dad's place on the Diamond S and kill 150, and 2 weeks later they can go in there and kill 100.
Yeah.
I don't think it's. I don't.
But the size of the pigs, I think and on average they're smaller.
I think you're probably right. There's more young pigs,
Right.
not old boars running
Right.
around.
Right.
I just got a guy from Iowa just called me just now wanting to book a 4-day hunt, and they
Right.
bring 10 guys here. They come every year and they'll kill anywhere from 15 to 30 pigs in the whole time, and they the same pigs they're killing the same pigs that they have and they hunt every year with us, and
Right.
they have for 15 years.
Right.
And they'll kill the same amount of pigs that they do every year.
But it's crazy to me how they just, good grief, we kill a lot of pigs.
Wyman thinks that the coyotes are getting heavier because of all the pigs.
All the protein laying around.
There's protein laying around for them.
Right.
Because he keeps a journal every
Oh,
year.
yeah. Wyman's a smart guy.
I mean, he's got journals dating back to the 70s, and he
about to-
weighs them all, takes blood, snips ears, like he does. He's
he's
got a
about
whole.
to come out with a new book, I think.
Yep.
Yep.
Sure.
He's got a whole process, but he's noticed. I can't remember the exact number, but he said like on average, they're weighing
I think 15% more.
15% more. I think so, a couple extra pounds. But his theory is there's so much extra protein laying around in these dead pigs that it's everywhere.
Well, we leave all of ours are left laying. I mean, unless the landowner wants to move, then we remove them. But
So how does that work? What if a guy shoots like this trophy pig and he wants it? Y'all go get it, pick it up for him?
Yeah, we did one here a few months ago. was shot and we went and got it. Yep.
What's the biggest pig you've seen y'all have shot?
That we've shot, that was probably
How much do you think it weighed?
I didn't weigh it, but probably Dustin and them would probably argue with me on this, but 230.
So not even
That's
a
it?
300-pound pig.
But if that's a big thing, if that's a big animal now, then I mean
it is.
that might just
he
be
had, he had some nice cutters, about that long.
I think people get, because you see it all the time. Like, I bet that's a 300-pound pig. It's like maybe 2.25.
When you start buying them, that's when I bought so many that I can look at them and I can tell you within 10 pounds what it's going to weigh.
It's like a shooter deer.
Right.
People see a big deer, then they shoot an actual shooter. When I say a shooter, I'm talking about a deer that's 150 inches and above.
Right.
Once you see a shooter, you know the difference between.
Exactly.
You don't have to question whether you should shoot it or
Yep.
not. It's a shooter.
Yep.
But
the pigs are the same way.
But I
Same
think
way.
what happens is these guys that don't know any better, they get above this animal, and it is a lot of fucking dead weight. 200-pound pig that's just laying there.
Oh, God damn.
And they're so compact, they're like, okay,
How much do you weigh?
I know what a deer weighs. That look, a deer's obviously got a bigger body a lot of times. It's taller.
Right.
So they see this, they're like, fuck, I can usually like move a deer.
Right.
And I can't even move that, so that's got to be a 300-pound pig. It's like, well, not really.
Yeah,
Like, that's
But how much do you weigh?
180.
Dead weight. That's a lot of dead
lot of
weight.
weight.
That's a fucking lot of dead weight. And they don't. You're right on that. Plus, they shoot a pig that weighs 200 pounds and it's 2.5
Right
foot
there.
tall.
Right.
Right.
Well, they don't realize if that son bitch was 6 foot tall and that big, it'd be bigger than a fucking moose.
Right.
I mean, they're
Exactly.
they're short and they're stout and they're compact and
They are.
And it's a lot. But that one pig is the only one we've ever killed that's over 400 pounds. And I can't tell you there's a handful of pigs that's over 300. But we used to kill, if you killed a 320-pound pig, it was not that unusual.
Right.
Nowadays,
It is.
you don't see very many. Like you said, most pigs you see nowadays are 90 to 140 pounds, I'm going to say. Somewhere in that little front.
Exactly.
That deal. And that's normal.
Right.
And most people that are shooting pigs ain't doing it for the food anyways.
Right.
No.
I mean, it's a good protein source. I'm sure if you get in Arkansas or Louisiana or Mississippi and some of
deep
them
swamps.
the Carolinas,
yeah.
Georgia, you're going to shoot some bigger pigs, but there's something they don't have going. You can't do helicopter hog hunts there.
Right.
I don't even know legally if you can, but you can't see
canopy's
to
too
do
thick.
it.
Right.
Like when the canopy's here and you got trees everywhere, it's hard to do hog hunts here.
Oh, yeah.
Once they get in them trees, you can't find them.
Yeah, that's what those guys are telling me. Like, on a good day, when it's, afternoon or whatever, it's cold or drizzly raining, and when they're out feeding, they're easy to find because they're in the fields. But when they're not out, they're in the woods, so you got to go flush them up, basically. So you have to go look for them instead of just being able to see them, like, fly around on the bush and see them on the wheat field. Well, boom, there you are. We're on top of them.
When they first started doing pig hunts and I'd hear them shooting, it just make my blood boil. I think, fuck, they're killing all of our resources, blah, 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 blah.
Me too.
In the last 10 years,
Me too.
I don't even think nothing of it.
No.
I just hope they shoot, they're shooting.
like a volley.
Matter of fact, we got a place, we told them to shoot some pig. Matter of fact, I think the last 2 years, they've hunted one of my leases.
Right.
Go shoot all, we're not out there and it's not
crazy,
changing the
man.
numbers at all.
I know, it's crazy.
And if they needed a place to hunt and we can do them a favor, then go ahead and shoot them because we're not using it.
Right.
But I think there's something that it's triggering to where they're just breeding more.
Well, here's what I think, and I might be wrong, but somehow, like 20 years ago, we had a lot of pigs.
yeah.
You could ride out here west and make this loop west of Rochester. You'd see 10 herds. How do I say this? They were basically overpopulated, so they couldn't reproduce as well. I think when you start taking those numbers out,
Right. They produce more.
yeah,
You can also tell when after the drought hit, you didn't see them along the roads because their numbers. I think the drought really did hurt the pigs, and that's the only time that it's hurt them is when we had a drought.
right,
But like right now, you see dead pigs everywhere.
Right.
When you see dead pigs on the road, their numbers aren't hurting at all.
right, exactly.
Because they're branching out more.
They're all over the place. But you see them. I see a dead pig on 2279 every day, just about.
Yep.
Somewhere someone's killed one.
Yep.
Sometimes they'll hit 3 or 4 of them. But
Yep.
they tear up shit all the time.
All the time.
God, they're bad on vehicles.
They are.
Have you been paying attention to the turkey numbers? They're hurting bad.
Are they really?
Bad. And they don't know, like this last year we did spring turkey hunts.
No good.
No fucking birds. Like,
Not back here either.
no.
Wow.
Bad. And it's everywhere. Everywhere except for like Michigan. Michigan and some places in the north. The turkey numbers are okay. But I know Missouri's down. Oklahoma is way down. Texas is obviously way down. So
Don't know what's going on yet though.
No clue.
But
But
you
like
know-
they've just disappeared.
You know how our quail do, though. You know, you've seen times where you don't see no quail, you can't find them, and then the next year it's like they're everywhere.
Right.
So I don't know.
But I don't know if there's like, I think that there's been a herbicide or a pesticide that got sprayed that is wiping them out.
Yep.
Is what I'm thinking.
Did you see very many in Iowa?
What?
Turkeys.
I didn't see none.
See, that's what I'm saying. That's it's everywhere.
Matter of fact, I didn't see nothing in Iowa except for people.
I think when you get to about the Minnesota, Iowa, like north of Clear Lake and Mason City, I think from there, the Minnesota border on, I think that the turkeys are pretty good. And in Wisconsin, Michigan, I think they're pretty good.
Yes.
But the southern areas from Iowa,
Kansas is bad.
Kansas, the numbers are horrible. Oklahoma, Texas, Missouri, and you never think
Places that are notorious for killing birds.
Missouri, especially in Nebraska. I mean, those places just. I hadn't heard nothing on Nebraska, but I know Kansas. But Kansas numbers are way down, and it has to be a pesticide. Everybody keeps saying there's too many coons. We don't trap enough no more. But we didn't trap.
Turkeys are smart.
Yeah,
man.
they didn't trap enough or they didn't trap enough in the colonial days to keep us from wiping all the turkeys. Would have been wiped out in the 1700s if it was just on fur,
right?
Or the 16 or 15. We didn't ever even know what a turkey was. So
exactly.
it has to be a man-made problem.
Yep, I bet you're right.
That's causing this.
Because you used to thump the turkeys out here all the time.
Oh yeah, big time. Matter of fact, the last time I was back here, I was hunting on my dad's right next. Well, I guess y'all have it now, right?
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, it's been a few years ago. But there was, right across the fence on the bush, there was
we hunt there.
A huge roost. I mean, there was just.
Andy killed 2 turkeys there this spring. That's it.
And
lucky to have them.
And I didn't hear much more than that.
That whole place. The whole place.
That's unbelievable.
I would walk.
So they're not there.
No.
Wow.
I would walk just that river bottom and just listen.
You know the stuff back here behind Smokey's old house?
Oh yeah.
We went and looked at it the other day. 2,000 acres. Didn't see a turkey. How many turkey used to be in on that place?
Oh my God. Yeah.
None. Didn't see one.
Pigs over there, I'm sure.
Not like there used to be.
Wow.
But that whole 2,000, we do it. It was during the daytime, middle of the, but you used to see turkeys there all the time.
Oh yeah.
No turkey tracks, no turkeys, no nothing.
Y'all feed over there?
No, well, the guy that's doing it does. We've got to do what we can hunt in there now. But they're gone. And there used to be 2 or 3 big flocks in there.
I have to ask my dad about the diamonds if you're year round over there. I wonder if he's got any turkeys. I haven't asked him, but
they're everywhere. The numbers are crashing. Nobody knows why. Like, was it Georgia? One of the states did a survey on
Missouri.
hens.
Missouri.
And they did like 15 hens, and they tagged them, put radio transmitters on them.
Right.
Out of and my numbers are off, but it's going to be pretty close. 15 hens, 6 of them had nest. 2 of them had actual poults, and only 1 of them had 2 poults that survived. That was it out of 15 hens.
Oh, Jesus.
And it could have been 17 hens, it could have been 12,
Right.
but it's pretty close to the number.
Right.
But it was like 1 hen actually had 2 poults, and only 1 of them lived. So 15 hens reproduced 1 little baby. And that's it.
Oh my gosh, that's horrible.
And then another state did it, and they tagged 6 poults with transmitters and stuff, and only 1 of them even survived out of 6. So they're just, and some of them got bit by varmints. One they don't, something's killing them.
I'm trying to find it now.
Yeah, because natural causes. I mean, we've been all these years we've been having turkeys, so it's not.
But there's something,
right.
And it's got to be a man-made issue.
Right.
It's like mallards. They say 15% of all mallards die every year,
right.
regardless if we shoot 13%.
Right.
Or whatever. So turkeys are not in that deal. There's something else happening there.
Right.
And we're going to have David Schuessler on from Ducks Unlimited late week or next week early on, and we're going to go over duck numbers because the duck numbers are in big trouble right now too.
Right.
Other than the ducks we don't shoot.
Right.
Blue-winged teal.
Here's 2022 Oklahoma work started with 28 hens fitted with GPS trackers and VHS radio trackers. Predators killed 7 during mating season. Of 21 remaining, only 9 are documented to have even attempted a first nest. All those were lost. Of those hens, 7 attempted a second nesting. By the 1st of June, only 4 nests remained active. Predators took the eggs out of 1 nest. 2 nests failed during to predators, killing the hens, and one of the nests of 4 eggs saw a successful hatch of 3 poults. The day after, the poults were fitted with transmitters also. All 3 were killed. 1 died of unknown causes. 1 would kill from a mammalian predator, and one transmitter was found
And-
inside the mouth of a cottonmouth.
Sounds like the birds are dying because of predators because they're sick or.
But 28 hens produced 0 turkey. 0.
That's in the state of Oklahoma. That was this spring.
28 hens. I mean, it's 0. Those motherfuckers will be extinct in 3 years.
In
will be.
Missouri in
Yeah, you're right.
2021, a quote is about 75% of nests failed due to predation of the actual nest, and 8 failed due to predation on the hen incubating the clutch. So I don't know, something wacky.
I mean, we
is
are
going on.
going towards extinction on turkeys if this kept up for 15 years because they don't live that long. I don't know what the average turkey lives. 3 to 5 years.
5 years.
3
is
to 5.
about-
I'd say 5 was
years.
a really
So
old one.
5 years now of 28 hens having 0 babies, they're going to be gone.
Oh yeah.
Now, it's not extinction because they've got enough in captivity and they can train.
Right.
But there's something
Yeah,
that's out of
bad.
whack. We may not be shooting turkeys in 5 years if these numbers keep going.
No, we won't be.
Somebody said that one of those states is going to go to a 10-day spring season and kill one turkey and
Right.
talking about going to a draw on them.
Right.
So, state of Missouri, how many fucking hunting licenses they sell for spring turkey hunts?
Jesus.
A ton.
Yes.
And there used to be a lot of out-of-state guys.
Yep.
So
You're right.
that's an industry that's really, really getting slapped in the face if they don't figure out what's going on.
Man.
And in a hurry, they better figure it out too.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, could you
It's
imagine
scary.
if we had ducks and you did 28 mallard nests
And none of them made it.
and not one baby duckling come out of 28 mallard hens? We would be like, what? We got to get
Would
this
be,
shit.
I mean, it's scary of the turkeys, but that would be scary.
Yeah. And that's the same thing with them.
Right.
You know? And they don't migrate. You know, you can fix a problem with your ducks up north in Canada or whatever
Right.
it is.
Right.
You know, them turkeys are local. If you wipe out all the turkeys in Knox County and none of them have babies,
Yeah, where the fuck they gonna come?
they're
You're
not
gonna
going to come from
retransplant
nowhere.
them.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, that's what's going to have to happen.
I think
Right.
that's what they did a long time ago for a lot of places. They
And
transplanted
that
a
is some
bunch
kind
of
of
turkeys.
fun hunting too. Turkey hunting is
Oh my
awesome.
god, I love it. Jeff hates it, but I love it.
I'm thinking about buying, and I've talked to my guy about buying a dozen turkeys for the lodge,
Right.
but building me a little, a roost or whatever, a place for them to stay in the
Right.
trees over here,
Right.
where we feed them there every night,
Mm-hmm.
open the gate, feed them there for a week or two till they get used to this as their home, and then open the gate where they can go out and walk and stay around the lodge, and then at nighttime go back in there and feed them at night.
Right.
And when they get there tonight, feed them, lock them up at night where the predators can't get them.
Right.
And then I can lock them up during
That-
hunting season so nobody will kill them. But that way I could get me
That-
a dozen birds to stay around here. Because we used to have turkeys in Tony's front yard in the
Right.
spring around here.
Oh, yeah.
You don't see none up here no
Right.
more.
Then that will work. That will work. But you know, and you know this, but it's like the pheasants. You know, all the pheasants we released and those birds. Okay, if we took true live pheasants from Kansas and we brought them over here and turned them loose to shoot, they would. I believe they would survive because they're wild birds. They know how to survive. They know how
Right.
to beat all the elements.
Yep.
Yeah, but they
But-
can't nest
but-
here because of chiggers or something.
Okay, yeah, maybe so. I've heard that too. But the pen raised birds, they're
They don't have that survival.
They have no survival instinct, so they're not going to make it.
No.
So
These
if you're-
birds here would be just, that thing would keep them alive. But when you drove in the lodge, because we've got 50 deer that's here every night now.
So you're just
yeah,
wanting
I've
them
seen
to
those, yeah.
mosey on the
I
property.
think it would be
go
neat.
roost at
It would
night.
be cool, yeah.
Just see, they got turkeys running around wild and stuff.
If
They're
you-
wild. We're not messing with them,
Yeah,
but
but
they're
they're
just
mean as shit. I think too.
But if you get true wild turkeys and do that with them, it'll work. But I think if you get pen raised turkeys, that I don't know if it would work. It makes
No,
sense.
if we didn't have that pen to go to, they'd be gone in a week.
Right.
They'd get eaten by predators.
Right.
But with that pen, you can keep
Right.
the predators out of them. You can keep your turkeys around, kind of like a petting zoo type deal where you just
Right.
have them around. The
Right.
deer are wild deer, but they feed. They come up here every night and they feed. There's water
Yeah.
for them and there's food,
Yeah.
so they're here. The turkeys would be just something to look
our
at.
deer numbers are up.
Oh,
right?
they're
Big
crazy
time.
right now.
Yeah.
But like peacocks, you remember?
Oh yeah.
I don't want a peacock because they make a lot of fucking
Shit on the
noise
front
in their
porch.
shit. I don't want them around here. But turkeys that would stay up there and just be
Right.
on the road, I think would be interesting.
Yeah, it
to
would
see.
be cool.
It's kind of like the pheasants. When we get our pheasants here, there's always pheasants running up and down.
Right.
People drive in, they see pheasants running around.
Right.
So
It's a hunting lodge. It's
yeah,
just-
you want something to see. I would like to have some graders, but I don't want them shitting all over the pond up there. And
Right.
They would be a fucking
Yeah.
mess.
They're cool.
And I wonder too. We've kind of had a bit of a dry spell, but I wonder if just having things more vegetation and like more undergrowth, if the birds would be able to hide a little bit better.
Right.
I don't know what some of these other places have experienced rain wise, but like I know here, if we have a wet spring and grass gets up a little bit taller hens can maybe hide a little bit
Right.
easier. I don't know.
But
It's-
y'all hunted turkeys. They're very. I mean, they're smart, man. I mean,
Yes.
they're so it's almost like the birds that are getting killed, taken out by predators. There's something wrong with them.
well, yeah, they don't
I
have
mean,
their
They're
faculties
sick
straight.
or something. I don't know.
How
It's hard
how long have you been sober now, or clean?
Going on 8 weeks.
8 weeks.
Yep.
And it's been mostly good, mostly positive.
It's been all good.
What?
I've had two hard days.
And that was when it rained, just his last
Yep,
couple of
yep.
days.
Yep.
But you were. How long were you in Iowa for?
4.5 weeks, I guess. 5 weeks.
So you got. So what is it today? So you got sober. You got clean late June.
Right. I mean, I haven't like looked at the calendar, but
Right.
yeah.
Right around 8 weeks. And then
Right.
when did y'all go to Iowa?
Shoot, the 1st of July, I guess. Or
So you had strung together a good little streak before y'all hopped out of here.
Yeah.
And then just no desire to go back to that life.
Oh no, I mean, there's like I said, I mean,
The monkey's gonna be in your back for the rest of your life.
Right. Yeah, I already know that. Yeah. But it's been easier than I thought it would be. And it would have been hard it would be harder to quit here.
This is not a place.
first step?
This is not a place to be sober because
Right.
everybody you dealt with.
Right.
But it's funny. Somebody from Iowa that's a junkie could come to Knox City and it'd be perfect for them.
Right. Yeah.
But it's hard. I think that old saying, "You're always 16 in your hometown."
Right.
It's hard to be a drug addict in a place that you can buy drugs and you know everybody that can get them.
Right.
When you're
Right.
going down little town Iowa, you don't know who you're asking if they got.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
Yeah. You're exactly right. But it does help a lot to get away from it and get your head straight.
Do your parents still ask you every day if you're sober? Or do they not
No,
ask?
they never
don't.
ask.
They don't ask.
They can tell.
Well, no. I know, but you think as a parent, you still would like. Are you still doing
Yeah, but
okay?
you don't
when they're
wanna
not
harp
sick-
on
when
them
they're
either,
not-
though.
No, that's what I mean. That's tough.
My dad will say it, but in different words.
But that's what he means.
Right.
He just wants that he wants you to know. As a
Right.
dad, he wants to hear you say that because it makes him feel good.
Right.
If you called your dad up every day and you said, "Dad, I love you and I'm clean. I just want you to know," his
Yeah.
whole day would be better.
Right.
I'm telling you right
No,
now. I mean,
I
as
mean
a parent,
Yeah.
I've never had to go through that. Now, knock on wood, I never hope I never
Right.
do. But when Payne was your age, your dad never thought he was going to be going through this with you either.
Right.
I never hope I have to go through that. The older boys now are older. I don't. But
Yeah.
as a parent, if you told your dad that and called him every morning, he'd be like, "How's your day going? It's been great. No matter what happens the rest of his day,
Right.
the thing
Yep.
he worries the most about is that right there."
You're right.
So what was the first time? Was it all just stress related, and you were like, I gotta figure out?
No,
how to
not the
cope
first
with this
time. The first
stress?
time was just doing it just to try it.
just to try it.
Yeah.
Just curious about what
Yeah.
it was like,
Exactly. Yep.
and then
the
it was
people I
just,
was running with were doing it, so just like
and then it was just a revolving door after that.
experimenting,
Yeah.
and then it just kind of snowballed. Started going through things, and things started happening, and so I just started leaning on it more, and then it would just make the problem just push it back.
Well, it was just like you saying, like you would hurt, like you're just masking what the problem is instead
Right.
instead
And
of
then-
dealing with it, you're just pushing it down to another day.
And then when you first start doing it, it's like freaking Superman, right?
Right.
I mean,
Yeah. Who wants sleep?
right.
I can go
And
all
then-
day.
But notice how much sleep I lost. Oh my God,
You think you've cheated yourself out of sleep in your life
dude.
What's the?
You have to sleep, bro. Like
You have to.
to survive? Yeah.
I mean, and I would go a week and not sleep, but maybe a few hours.
What's it like? So when you're done,
10 o'clock at night, I go home. I go to sleep.
you've gone through that week of
Every
no
night.
sleep. Is your body just like a wreck? Do you just crash for like 2 or
Crashing.
3 days?
Yes, exactly. Yep. I wouldn't because I had a job.
Right.
But if I was just like doing my landscape stuff or whatever, and I could pick and choose, I would sleep for a day and a half, 2 days, and then get back up, do a line, and go back after it
So you go to bed right now at 10 o'clock every night,
every night.
and you sleep good.
Oh God, all night. Wake up at 7
And so you sleep 8-9 hours straight through every night.
every night. Never taught, no toss, no turn, nothing. Wake up feeling good, man. But before I felt like shit every day when I get up. I mean, horrible. Then God, I'm gonna make it through this day, and I do another line, and feel good for a while. Then it's just a vicious cycle. It's just same shit every day.
There's a lot of dishonesty with drug dealers. We all know that.
Right.
Did you ever have anybody screw you over on something you were buying?
Oh yeah.
Pretty common. Or you ever buy stuff that wasn't as pure as you thought it was?
Yeah. But you kind of weed those people out, and they get a reputation.
Like, don't buy from Joe Bob.
Right.
He'll sell you bad shit.
Right. There's ones out there that are, I guess you'd say, good drug dealer. They did good business.
Have you ever been around anybody that's new to the game and you've tried to talk them out of don't try this?
Oh yeah. A lot of people. Yeah. Yes, sir.
It's just, it's so weird because.
And most of the people that I know that do it's like their past. It's the same as like, one thing is like, I never forgave myself from what happened with, going through my divorce and my kids and all that. So I just carried that burden, You have to forgive yourself and you got to move on. Mm-hmm. And most people that I know that are hooked on drugs, a lot of them are females. A lot of them are locked up, but they've been through traumatic things, and that's just the way they cope with it,
Yeah, it's not a mystery that everybody's got a hard life. Everything happens to people, So everyone in here is going to die, and everybody's going to have somebody close to them that's going to die.
Right.
And the question isn't, well, why do you drink and do drugs? The better question is, why don't you do drugs? You're faced with your mortality every single day.
Right.
And that's something that you have to deal with.
I'll tell you where I'm extreme.
And everybody that you know is also going to die. So, like, why wouldn't, give me something that's just going to mask all this shit.
Right.
Well, I think anybody that's caught selling a drug that's laced with fentanyl that's killing people, which is a common thing now, I think they ought to put them to sleep. I think if you're selling drugs, making money off something, and you're giving people fentanyl and they're dying from it, and
it's manslaughter.
They should just put you to sleep. There shouldn't be a second chance.
Right.
If I sell you some drugs and it kills you, and I've laced it with something,
I agree.
Put me to sleep. If you sell a kid, and now this is really harsh too. If you sell someone under 18 years old methamphetamines, heroin, put your ass to sleep too.
Right.
And I'm serious about that shit.
Right.
They're not grown people to be making them decisions. They shouldn't be doing that shit.
Right.
If someone 25 years old wants to go take methamphetamines or heroin, they should know better than that shit.
Right.
But if you sell someone something with fentanyl, that's a good chance they're going to die. I think in Abilene just a couple of years ago, there was like 7 or 8 people died of fentanyl one day.
Right.
And it was a bad batch of some shit.
Yep.
They find out who did that shit, they had to put them to sleep.
Right. Yep.
Is there anything on the docket? Like if you sell somebody a bad drug and they figure it out and it kills somebody, is that manslaughter?
They've got it now where it is on some things.
It should be.
But they've got to make it. If you want to
stick to it.
Yeah, I don't care about marijuana. I've never done marijuana. We've talked about this many times. Marijuana should be just as legal as alcohol is.
I agree.
Our state is screwing up on not legalizing it. If that's,
it's not going to do nothing but make you eat and sleep.
Yeah,
right.
I mean, I've never seen anyone on marijuana want to go around and beat everybody up. I've seen a lot of people on alcohol. There ain't nothing more fucked up than
alcohol is
a drunk is a miserable person to be around. As a drunk.
I get on whiskey. I'll fight a telephone pole. I don't drink whiskey. I'm just saying, like, that shit's bad.
It's a horrible deal. Yeah. People that it's a drunk, and nothing worse than a drunk.
Right.
But heroin and all that other shit, I have no use for that. I think that'll put you under the jail for that shit for selling it because it robs lives.
Yep.
Your life was robbed, but you did it to yourself.
Right. Exactly.
And everyone that does it too. But, make it a little tough. If you really want to make some drug laws, make some damn drug laws on shit like that.
Right.
Don't fuck with people on the marijuana deal because it's not that big a freaking deal.
Exactly. I agree.
95,000 people die a year from alcohol. And I think only 70,000 die from fentanyl. Well,
of course. But there's probably only 73,000 people on fentanyl.
You're correct.
But there's 300 million in people in this country. I'm betting you somewhere close to 80 million people drink alcohol.
And methamphetamines is going to be it's not going to be a 1 year you're dead. It's going to be 10, 15 years down the road, your life is going to be short and you're going to die.
Unless you take fentanyl. Unless fentanyl's
laced in exactly, yeah.
But it's not.
80,000 in 2021.
You might die from meth because someone shoots your ass from stealing from them.
Right.
Or you get hit on a bicycle riding around or whatever the hell it is. But you're right. It's not an instant death deal.
Right.
But it's a horrible fucking life.
Yep. And it will catch up to you. I mean, you can tell when your body will tell you, like, it's bad on your kidneys. It's bad on everything.
Well, I hope you stay clean, Wes. I do so much. I pray for you, and I hope you do.
You're doing good.
I don't want to go to your funeral like I did Andy's. I don't. And if it is, I'll be there.
Right.
And I'll feel bad. But I'm telling you right now, at 3 o'clock in the morning, if you get trouble and you need somebody to talk to, you can call me anytime. Anytime at all, you can call me, and I'll come get you wherever you're at. And even if you're fucked up, I'll come get you.
Right.
I might be a little fucking pissed off about it, but I'll come get your ass.
You're going to get a lecture.
Yeah.
Yep.
But no, I wouldn't lecture you because it didn't do no good.
Yeah.
You can't talk to someone on meth and tell them they're fucking their life up. Ed that worked out here, I had so many fucking conversations with him. Sober Ed I could talk to. Right. Fucked up Ed, there wasn't no sense talking to fucked up Ed. But sober Ed is one that got fucked up Ed in trouble.
That's like Dustin. He's like, man, what can I do? I said, you can't do nothing, bro. You've done everything you can do. Like, I mean, I got to do it myself.
Yep.
He's like, man, I'll do anything. Just tell me. I'm like, you can't do nothing. I'm a grown ass man.
The Betty Ford Clinic charges $100,000 or whatever it is to go to there. The richest fuckers in the world to go out there, and they're probably their attrition rate or their rate of getting people over it is probably the same as going to a publicly budgeted government deal. Right. Unless the people want to get clean, it ain't doing you any good to go to one of those places.
That's right.
And it's, I don't know what the addiction. I'm addicted to food. Probably have a gambling addiction of some sort.
I'd say so. 3 nights a week would qualify.
I don't go 3 nights all the time. I did one last week. Some nights I go 1 week. Sometimes I didn't.
We'll keep a tally.
You keep
if you'll keep an honest tally, I guarantee you it's closer to 3 than it is 1 or 0.
Okay. Well, it's probably closer to 3 than 0. But I probably do. And everybody has some sort of addictions of some sort, and I do. So I'm not going to judge somebody for that. But when hunting season's here, I don't go to a casino for 3 or 4 months.
That's how he gets around it.
No, I'm not getting around nothing.
Just like a junkie.
I'm not.
Well, when hunting season's here, I can't go at all. So I'll go 17 times in 1 week. And
I'm not trying to get around nothing because
no, you are. You
no.
are. Yes, you are. Because you're justifying it in your head, just like you justify your bad eating habits. Well, hunting season's here, and this is all that's
no. I'm just saying that I don't go year round to the deal. So
he's justifying going 4 times a week.
You're not letting me finish. But for 3 or 4 months, I don't go at all. Right. And I'm
Sounds like
fine
a justification to me, Wes.
Right. But I probably have a slight gambling addiction because I do on that because that's what I like to do.
Some people can tamper, gamble, play, and some people can't.
Yeah. I'm not selling my vehicles to go to. I mean, so I'm playing within my means. But what I'm saying is everybody out there has some kind of addiction to this. A lot of people on the list in this have a fucking addiction to waterfowl hunting.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I know guys that spend every freaking dime they have on buying all new waterfowl stuff. That's their addiction.
Right.
People have addictions and passions. Some are healthier than others.
Right. Exactly.
But they are.
Right.
Any more judgmental things you can say?
No,
asshole?
I'm not judging you at all. I'm just saying that it sounds like you're justifying your wicked, wicked ways.
I didn't justify nothing. I
You
said I
did.
probably. If I was have you ever heard someone say I might have a slight addiction to meth? No. They either say they do or they don't. I have.
But
Okay.
You kept saying I can't go. I can't go when I get busy. So I load it at the front end of the
I never said
year.
anything about front end loading. I just said I don't do it.
Anytime you go to
3 or 4
Oklahoma,
months.
you go see the Indians.
Not all the time. I don't. No, I don't.
Y'all still hunt in Oklahoma?
We haven't
Not
much
as
the last
much.
couple of years.
It's been dry.
Casinos haven't been good, so I've been going. Oh.
Right.
It's not worth building a business around because the casinos are bad.
The hunting is not. It's been too dry. If it gets wet again, we will.
Right.
Hopefully, this last little bit of rain
Will help and fill up all their
things
water
there.
holes and stuff.
3
It's been
inches.
it's. I'm telling you right
been a
now,
weird
it's
couple
the
years.
last 24 months in the waterfowl business have been really weird for a lot of people.
Right.
You got to take the highs and the lows. It's like my phone in there's ringing off the hook. So, good or bad, business is good and people are wanting to go.
Right.
But it's not. They're not burning up the phone lines because we're shooting a limit of birds every morning by 7:30 with every group because it's not like that.
Right.
I don't know very many places. Toby's been having as good a hunting in Amarillo as anybody has, and he had a hard year last year. And he
Y'all
had bad
realize for
days.
20 years we had the best goose hunting in the
There's no
world,
doubt about it.
in the
Wherever.
world.
and took it for granted.
Everywhere.
The world.
and thought it
Not
was
the
going to be
United
that way
States,
forever.
The world.
Yep. And never ever thought it would end. I went to bed every night. Never would. But I'm gonna tell you what, Jeff Stanfield, the outfitter in 1998, to Jeff Stanfield, the outfitter in 2022, the guy in 2022 sleeps a whole lot better than the guy in 1998 did.
Right.
Because I learned you can't fix shit you can't control.
Right.
Don't worry about it.
Right.
You give everything you can control, you try your best to be good at
Right.
it. And everything you can't control, you pray God helps you out through it because it doesn't do you any good.
Right.
But
You
I
know?
wonder if the Jeff Stanfield then the expectations were anything less than a limit was a failure.
but I was stressed over shit that I couldn't
I
control
know,
more.
but the stakes were like super high. Like we know that this year on November 15th, unless there's some major cataclysmic winter weather event and snow just dumps from Canada to the Oklahoma-Texas line, we're probably going to have a lot of specs here, maybe a handful of Canada. So for 10 guys to go out, we're going to shoot our 20 specs. And if we shoot 5 to 10, if we shoot 5 to 10 Canadas, everything's great. 10 guys, 25 to 30 birds, rock solid. 10 guys, when you were my age, if you don't shoot your 50 birds, it was
60, 65 because the 2 guys. I mean, you'd shoot them all.
All the time.
So if you don't shoot 50 to 60 birds, it was a failure.
Don't even go back to camp because you'd be embarrassed.
Right. You shoot 25 birds November 15th of 2002.
No, it was a different deal. Plus, I was worried about feeding my family every day. If I don't shoot those limits of birds, those guys aren't going to come on a hunt. I know we're going to be full. Now you built your business, right? We know we're going to have everybody here that's going to hunt, and they're going to do whatever. From dove season through shooting pigs through February, March, and maybe some turkeys in April. I know that we're going to have people here, and we're going to make a living, and everyone's going to eat and stuff. But when I was young, I didn't have that. Now, I'm still hungry, and I have a desire to make everybody happy because that I still do. I don't want people to think, oh, hell, they don't care no more. I do care. But I've just learned to...
You adapted.
Yes, and I've learned to, the things I can control, try to make better. And we're working around here every day trying to make things more comfortable, better for people to be here than I am worried about it being 37 degrees Fahrenheit.
That's a big part of the hunt.
Yes.
Sure.
Yeah.
They're only in the field for 4 or 5 hours. I mean...
And I wish I'd have realized that a long time ago, some of it. The people want to have a good time. If the limit went to 3 ducks, which I think is coming in the next couple of years, and we go to 3 ducks, it's not going to affect us that much because ducks is an extra deal for us. But the guys in Stuttgart...
Ducks only 3?
No. But that's probably what's going to happen in 2 years.
Duck,
6, right?
Yeah, 6. Yes. But David, the guy from DU is going to be on. We're going to talk about this, the numbers. But if ducks go to 3 ducks per day... Those people in Stuttgart, Arkansas, are going to be just as busy at 3 ducks as they are with 6 ducks.
Right.
People want to duck hunt.
They want to see it.
That's right. They
even if it's 2 flocks.
That's right. They want to be a part of that. Now, your hardcore guy that's listening to this, I ain't spending all that money. Yes, you will. What are you going to do all of a sudden? You going to sit home and hug your wife all day long? No. You're going to get out and you're going to go hunting. And you're going to get out just like when you go fishing.
And you're going to like it.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, that's exactly right.
Or quit.
You're going to have a good time doing it.
Or take up golf. I mean, you love it. That's your passion. That's what you like to do. So you're going to do it. You may bitch and say, I wish it was more ducks. Well, you know what? Instead of shooting 3, just shoot 2, and maybe later on down the road you'll get 5
again. The older you get, the more that, I mean, Andy, all of us know that. I mean,
you appreciate it more.
Like when I was 20, I wanted to kill all of them.
Every one of them.
Yep.
I'd be back there blazing. I mean, but now I don't even need to take a gun if I'm guiding. I mean, you need to because there's situations where you need to have a gun. But
my dad was one of the last people I knew to be at his age to want to fucking go out and hunt every day. Until when he finally quit going and hunting when he got sick, or we wasn't doing pheasant hunts, Dad would go every morning. He wanted to shoot every fucking goose wanted to go and go from a dead sleep to shooting, pulling a trigger in 3 seconds.
He was a stone cold killer too.
And he loved it. But most people, when they get older, they've lost that desire to want to shoot something.
Well, I mean,
and everybody's different, but you don't. Right. But as you age, things are more important.
Yeah.
Like I'm getting some waders, and one of the reasons I got waders is so when me and Andy can take Jameson and Reese hunting, I can carry one kid and he can carry another kid and put them somewhere.
Right.
Instead of Andy having to take 2
You're
trips.
not out there to kill nothing. You're out there to watch them have fun and to show them.
We're going to shoot teal with Boss 7s. I've got a 410 over under in there that Reese can set and shoot with, and if he shoots them on the water, fine. But he's going to get it. I want to be there to experience that.
Of course,
I want to see them do that.
And hey, man, I mean, they might take this business over.
Well, somebody's going to have to one day. If not, someone out there is going to have a nest on the egg one day. If Andy's kids decide not to be in the hunt business, because I don't know who else is going to take it over. But
might be a wedding.
So where's Tony
area.
at in all this? Is he still here? I know he is.
He's outside working.
I don't know what he's doing. Tony's in charge outside. I'm in charge inside.
Okay,
he's
cool.
happy outside too. I hadn't seen Tony. Have you? I saw him this morning. We went and looked at water holes.
I see him all the time in town. He's always around somewhere.
Yeah, he goes to town 37 times a day.
Yeah,
more than that.
He goes to. I've never seen anyone that has to go 9 miles, 18 miles round trip, and he goes. I'm telling you, Tony goes at least 4 times a day round trip, at least. Tony's making them Arabs a lot of money on gas and oil because he does it all the time.
He does.
And he gets mad when I call it out sometimes. Like, I didn't get you consolidate your trips. I had to go to court today, or I wouldn't have went to town. I just stayed out here all day long.
Right.
Now Andy decided he had to go to town between podcasts.
Well, yeah, my wife's still not home, and your wife is watching Jameson. I want to take the burden off of her.
There's no burden. Is your wife coming home today?
Yeah, she should be here.
What time do they land?
It's not gonna be till late, 9
shit.
o'clock or so. Oh yeah.
You know what your mom said also this morning? I told her, I said, Andy said he was a grouchy dad last night. He was tired and he went to bed early. And you know what she said? What do you think she said?
Should have stayed here.
The boys should just stayed at our house last night again.
Right.
I was grouchy though. But you're right. I think about that a lot. We had the best hunting in the country, in the world, like you said. For the lesser geese, forget about it. There's no place better.
No, never will be. There'll never be another place like this.
No,
because it's unique because it was a small confined area. It may be there again one day because these birds are cyclical. Within the next 50 years, we'll have those geese here again.
Think so?
Yeah,
I just hope I'm alive to see it.
I'm going to tell you right now, if I die today, or if I die in 50 years, I've got longevity in my family, and I may see 100 years of age. I can tell you right now, the experiences I've had in the waterfowl business, I've been blessed as much as anybody I know out there.
Me too.
I mean, to get to see and
Me
do.
too.
Yep.
Me too.
It's a great, great, great life.
It is. It's been awesome.
And I'm glad you're getting sober, and I want to see you in the spread some this year. You can come out and hunt. You can be on season 2 of the first family of waterfowl.
Good.
So you can be out here with us. We start shooting August 30th. Andy, you ready? We're fixing to get off here anyways, Andy.
August 30th. Dove?
Huh?
August 30th.
We're doing a dove one. We're doing 2 episodes in September, and then the rest of it will all be November, December, January waterfowl stuff.
Cool.
I want to hunt with you this year.
Yeah, me too. I'll be there.
Make it happen.
We'll do it.
All right. Stay on the straight and narrow. We're all rooting for you.
I know.
So, like, you got a good crew behind you.
You got my number. I'm telling you, call 3-4 in the morning.
I know your number. I had it memorized for years.
Well, you call me.
Too. 4102, 4103.
Yep, you call anytime you need it.
And let's hunt together this year. Let's make it happen, all right? We'll go shoot a nice speckle belly. Come out here for Mom's cookies afterwards.
Neck collar, remember that?
Yes, I do. I do remember that. I had to hide it. Had to wrap it because that was actually my first neck collar I've ever killed.
I remember that.
So I didn't realize that they came with leg bands.
We hadn't killed a neck collared bird in 10 years.
There used to be so many here.
A neck collar in 10 years?
2012.
So you still go out in glass fields
all the time, every day.
That's all he does.
You don't see them?
Very seldom.
Not very often.
Wow.
Maybe 1 or 2 a year I see, but not like weird. I used to, where it was 1 in every flock or 2.
Right.
That was weird too, because every February, I don't know where or late January, you'd start seeing neck collars showing up, and like you don't see it now.
They don't band our birds, and from what I understand, and I don't know if this is true, and someone's going to call me out on this, but I think they're getting away from the neck collaring birds because they can do DNA. No, they can do DNA on the feathers now.
Right.
And they can take a bird, they can shoot a bird here and do a DNA test on it and see what group of birds it's from.
Right.
Now,
Exactly.
I know this sounds really weird, but I think that is true. I think if you look into that, I'm 99% true that is right. Now, a lot of the collars they used to do to be able to tell birds from areas and they could write it down and stuff, but I think now they can do it all from feathers and stuff.
Plus, I mean, you're just putting a target on that poor bird's back.
No
Bubba's
doubt.
riding down the road and sees his fucking neck collar out there.
One time, me in Dallas, we seen a neck collar in the field, so we went and got these huge tumbleweeds. We both had a tumbleweed, and the wind's blowing, of course, at our backs. We 20 yards, stop, 20 yards, stop, 20 yards, stop, and get within 40 yards, and he pulls up and smoked him. Tumbleweed trick works good though.
Tumbleweed trick. I've never heard of that before.
Yeah, it works good for real.
But yeah, I walk out there. I'm 13 or 14 years old, and there's a neck collar, and I'm like, oh, how the fuck am I gonna get this back?
Within your leg band,
hand, run back.
Right.
Gotta get down, boys. Birds coming.
That's it. Yep.
I get in a lot of trouble whenever I say that I swipe bands. People get pissy.
You got called off the other day on that again.
I did.
It happens.
That's a
Part
guy
of it.
thing.
Everybody's fucking done it. We've had, when we first started the podcast, and we'd had like the big names in waterfowl, just you name it, we had them on in the early days, and that was one of the questions I asked because every one of them guided, and I'd be like, "Did you ever snipe a leg band in your guiding days?" Every one of them said yes. So people just need to fucking relax,
right?
But whatever.
We get that privilege. We spend enough days in the field.
That's right. Well, they're probably gonna lose it on the way back home. Anyway.
I tried to snag. I wasn't going to try to snag a band, but me and Danny Odell were out one day, and he shot a speck with a blue neck collar on it.
Oh yeah.
And I picked it up and I put my hand around it.
Right.
To fuck with him, And he goes, that thing have a neck band collar on it? I said, no, what are you talking about? He said, that didn't have a neck collar on it? I said, no. He said, you serious? I said, yeah, it did. And I showed it to him and I threw it to him. He goes, well, what'd you do with the leg bands? I go, huh? He goes, there's no leg bands on it. I said, no shit. And because I didn't even look, I just grabbed the neck collar and there was no leg bands on it. And I don't know if they fell off or if they put the neck collar on it and it got away before they banded it. I mean, I don't know. I have no clue. But he's like, you sure? Then it made me look like a fucking thief because I was fucking with him about the neck collar. But I didn't take the leg bands.
Did you call it in? I wonder
There's
if
nothing to call in. You just got a blue neck collar. I mean, they got tons of them.
Right.
There were no numbers on the neck collar?
Every blue neck collar, every red one, they got the same numbers on them. It's all for a refuge.
It's all
or
on the
an
leg
area.
band that is different? I've not
I think so.
called in enough of them to know.
If you call in a neck collar, if you get a neck collar a red one, it may have Y8 on it or something.
Right.
Well, every place that Y8 signifies within 100 mile
Every
area.
neck collar I've ever killed either had one or two bands on the leg.
Yeah, everyone I've ever had two. Other than that one had zero. And all I can figure out is maybe they put the blue neck collar on it and the fucker disappeared.
Or they just jacked up and didn't, just didn't get
Let
it
it
happen.
go.
Right.
But
New kid on the job, let it
Right.
go before they put it in the...
One of our helicopter pilots flies in Alaska. He went and helped us on the corner run, but then, the rest of the year he flies in Alaska, but he showed me up in the Northwest Territories in the spring. These guys were holding this huge, like a volleyball net times 20, with this huge net, and they had it, and he was flying the chopper, and the birds, before they could fly, just pushing this herd of geese into the net, and then they come around and
what do they call
they banned
what's
them.
called molten? What is it called when they don't have no wings?
Molt.
Yeah.
Those are flight feathers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
those are flat
Yep.
feathers, and that's how they
They're all snow geese, but
that's how they banned them all.
yeah. So it's pretty cool. He had a video of it.
I saw we've had a guy that bands from California on, and they banded a Eurasian widgeon, and they banded a hybrid mallard pintail cross, and boy, that would be a freaking
Right.
deal. There's a trophy coming down the flyway too. Did you see the picture of the blue wing teal? It's a blue wing spoonbill cross.
Really?
Yeah, the guy had a picture of it, and he was in Manitoba. He says it's coming down the deal, so people beware.
It'll
it
be
was
there.
beautiful. It had the white tips on it.
Wow.
It had the spoony deal, and had a big white crest on it here.
Really?
It was a blue wing spoonbill cross.
That's cool.
I'll tell you what's going to end up happening. That some bitch is going to come in and Reese is going to miss it or something like that.
Probably.
If
Well,
that,
and
if
then
that bird
but-
comes in,
no.
I'll quick shoot his
No,
ass.
but we won't see it. We won't see what it is until it's flying away, and we'll be like, "Motherfucker, there it was."
Right.
And Reese missed it.
If that bird comes in our decoys and we're waiting on Reese to shoot it,
It ain't happening.
I'm gonna quick
You're
shoot
gonna
his
quick
ass.
shoot my fucking son, my 7-year-old son.
well, I'll probably have to quick shoot you because you're going to be trying to quick shoot him too.
Jeff, I play fair,
Yep.
except for neck collar.
All right, let's get off here. God bless y'all. Thank y'all for listening to us. Wes, stay sober, but if you need
Yes,
anything
sir.
with them, thank you for being on with
Thank
us.
you.
Thank you. Let's hunt together.
I bet.
Bye, everybody. Go check out all of our great sponsors. Go check out Double T British Kennels, Ducks Unlimited, Dirty Duck Coffee, Stanfield Hunting Outfitters, Bangtail Whiskey, Alpha Outdoor Specialties, Looking Glass Duck Club Podcast, Lucky Duck, Shin Gear Waders, Gun Dog Outdoors, Pacific Calls, Dive Bomb Industries, and Boss Shot Shows.